Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
This morning. Hey, crew. Hey, crew. Hey, crew. Hey, crew. Hey, hey, hey.
King Roman news, 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 King Roman.
King Roman news, 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 King Roman news. Let's go, let's go. Ow, let's start this show. King
Come
Roman
on,
news
come
gonna
on.
come right through,
Say
gonna give
what?
you that news
Say
just like
what?
you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman news.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman news.
Let's go. One more time. One more time. For the people in the back, say this.
Hey,
Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman news, coming just for you. King Roman news, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay, girl.
King Roman news. Let's go, let's go. Let's start this show.
Go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start this show. Good morning, crew. Shout out to the crew. Look, I'm saying it early, top of the hour. Hey, I'm here. We here. We about to talk about what we got to talk about today. Okay, I showed up. That's what matters. Yes, I slept past alarm 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm here. I already told y'all Thursdays is like the new Fridays. They talking about $20 pictures of sangria. I must have had two pictures. It didn't even finish either one. It was just the thought of having two pictures for $20. Baby, I was in there just looking like a fool. Shout out to the crew. Good morning to the crew. Thank y'all for being here with me this morning. It's always a pleasure. Shout out at City 805 Queen. Shout out to y'all being here this morning, Zaire. Shout out to the members and moderators. I said I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna add this while I'm doing it. Good morning, Bobby. Hey, boo. Good morning. Good morning. I see y'all comments. Where you at, Roman? Where you at, Shay in Colorado? Hey, baby. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Shay. I hope you come back, boo. I do. Hey, pretty chocolate girl. That's wifey. That's sister wifey right there, Brick girl. Hey, Lee. Happy Friday, Kings Mina. Let's go. Between pages. What's up? Hey, listen. I hope y'all hit that like button. Jumpstart this morning by giving me a little like this morning so we can get us in that algorithm. Like, shoot me in there. Like, give me not pause. Hold up. Pause. Okay. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing today and turn on those notifications. All cash apps are supported here. Anything, dollar. If you can send change, you can. It doesn't matter. I just appreciate your support. Hey, Mrs. G. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, we got a lot to get through, a lot to talk about, a lot of giggles and laughs on today's show. And I'm glad we are back. Can y'all believe, first of all, can y'all believe it is March the fucking 3rd? We just literally said it's Black History Month. It's beginning of February. We are already here in March and we made it through. I hope everybody made it through prosperously. I hope everybody has been chucking along. And I'm about to do a little plug. And I hope you all remember our 4 words that we're walking into this year with, crew. Affirmations. Yes, I am the shit. Yes, this is the reason why I'm the shit. Conviction. You're convicted because you're backed up. You know that you are because of these things. You're convicted. You're not out here saying I'm the shit and it's no substance. No, bitch, I'm the shit. Because let me tell you, okay, you're convicted. And also evolving, learning when it's time to evolve. When like, yeah, it's fun to play with y'all. It is, yes, but I gotta evolve into the person I want to be. And maybe I might come back, but I know that I'm evolving. And I think about that a lot of times over the years. Friends that I don't missed on and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing is faith. We all have our own religion and we all have faith in our own things, but having faith in yourself. No one should have more faith in you than yourself. So start having faith in you. Stop. Don't put yourself down, crew. Everybody lift yourself up. We walking into this year as a year of growth, spiritual growth. So shout to y'all for that. I wanted to start the show with that. And I want to say good morning. Hey, teacher Shawan, good morning. Happy Friday. Oh, it's your birthday weekend. Oh, I know we celebrating. I know we turning up. I'm gonna come right on over. I hope you turning up. I'm gonna come if you doing a live or something. I'm coming through. Good morning, the plainest Jane. It's always a pleasure to see you pop out. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. Hey, Voodoo, what up? Voodoo the cutie, popping up on the panels now. I was listening to Voodoo on Ronnie Q's yesterday. I said, listen to Voodoo. He just up here trying to just being messy. Why you think Bizarro acting like this? I said, you just being messy, and I'm here for it, and I love it. Shout out to Voodoo. Shout out to Voodoo. El Presson. I don't know why I say Presson. Good morning and happy Friday. Red Wings, it's so good to see you. Good morning. One of the people in the back, good morning. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We finna get right into the show because I don't want to waste no time. Me and Eli taking a break from each other. I had called my friend early this morning and she came and got him because he pissed me off so bad yesterday. I never was so enraged at my dog yesterday that as I was yesterday. And it almost, y'all, I almost went to the website and pulled up them applications. I was so close. Yesterday he stayed home, I stayed home, and he was in a room. I was in here on work on a Zoom call talking, literally talking. Do you know Eli came in here and he started pawing, he was all around the room, but then he started pawing at my ankle. And it was a soft paw, like, baby, he went like he really wanted something. He fucked around and tore flesh off my leg, y'all. Ripped skin. And mind you, I'm sitting here, so I'm doing this to Eli. Like, I'm like, okay, Eli, like, okay, and I'm trying not to. I done fucked around and cursed on the damn camera in front of my colleagues. I had a screen full of 8 people. I'm talking, and I said, get the fuck out of here. And I did that. And 2 of my colleagues' cameras went black. They like cut their cameras off. And I was just sitting there like, I was like, I am so, because they didn't know he had walked in. I was, and not acting like I was doing this the whole time. Like, and then finally I just said it. And so after that call, I just was, he could tell Eli was he ran in the room. He was on the bed. I said, you know what? It's not your fault. I should have closed the door, but you got to go. So I asked my friend, I said, can you please get him? Because I have to work the rest of my day. I have to finish all this stuff up. So she came and got him yesterday. She brought him back this morning. So my baby is back. And like ain't nothing happened. I said, no, I still got an attitude with you. Yeah, you're gonna go in the room. You're absolutely gonna go in the room. The fuck wrong with you? Now I'm over here with an ankle. I'm sitting here looking like, okay, this is cute. I'm in the shower, done burnt my damn leg. I'm hopping around like shit. All because of a dog. Now I'm going now, I'm vaccinated up. So like I ain't worried about any of that stuff. But now I'm still gonna go to urgent care. Like I told y'all, urgent care is my first before emergency room. I'm gonna go to urgent care. I can't. It be getting to my soul. I'll be like, I love you, dear, and I'll be feeling bad. It's like I love you dearly, but I just, baby, if you see me home, that don't mean that I'm free. I'm doing something, and I'll be trying to let you out the door, let you roam the house while I'm doing my business, but that don't seem to do anything. Thank you, pretty chocolate girl. Thank you, baby. Thank you for this the super chat. Y'all know this is like the first super chat of the I think of the year. Shout out to you for that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, babe. Thank you. Hey, Roman, I didn't get the chance to give you the new strand of the day. Please, bubblegum. Oh, I done had now you talking about something I done had. Bubblegum. I've had to take a break from Leo before. My homeboy took him for almost a month. It happened. And you finish, it's like, and then at the end, you probably be like, I miss my baby. But you needed that time. I'm thinking about a month too. My thing is who can I do that with a month? I might need a good month. Where the good sangria? Yo, it's this spot here called Forno, and baby, it was so packed last night because also, y'all, we're gonna talk about it too on Hot Topics. Chris Rock is in town. He's been in town. His people have been in town setting up for his thing down here at the Hippodrome. I walk my dog over there. My job is literally there. So I've been walking back and forth, and all you see is trucks set up. I'm like, damn, do they think he finna have demonstrations? They even have gates to the street. I wish I'd have took a picture. Because today they're gonna be over there showing the whole Chris Rock show. We're gonna talk about it later. And so I was over there, in that area, and that place was lit. I'm like, oh, all these people are employees from all across the street because you can tell they didn't live in the area. They went somewhere quick, and we was all in there getting fucked up. I'm like, can I just get another picture? Just sit it here. I'm not done with this one yet, but I just want to know I got a picture around. And I was sipping. Bitch had a straw in one. My friend like, can I get some? Why? Bitch, it's $20 for a whole. You want mine? If you don't get your own, it's like buying a bottle of wine. But I couldn't drink it all. I ain't that crazy. I couldn't do it all. I've been there. Baby, not you was going to turn Eli. I went looking for them applications. I was like, I'm about to log in and start reviewing these applications. Fuck my leg up. It's a cut. And so now it's at the part where it's still the white, it's still pink. But it's not bleeding anymore. I got a Band-Aid over it. But it's pretty long, it's a lengthwise. I said because he was doing this. And you know what that means. He getting them nails cut off today. Hey, Rico to Brad. And thank you for sharing my videos. I definitely see the support. Thank you, Rico to Brad. I appreciate it, yo. He was trying to tell you something. Yes, you know what he wanted. All of that for a bacon bit treat. And I just was like, I just took out the bag and I just threw them on the ground. For this, here, take them. Eat them all till you ain't hungry no more. Yeah, I did. I had a moment. I spazzed. So I know he was full of that. You looking delicious this morning for real. Thank you, Rico the Brad. I appreciate it. I miss Leo, my cat, real bad, but he was acting out because I hadn't had his balls clipped yet. And them temperature, oh baby. They be knowing when they stuff, they be knowing. Eli still gets around the hump and you still may need a tetanus shot. Yeah, that's why I said I was gonna go. If you go, make sure that you tell him he wasn't trying to hurt you. Oh yes, right in the heart of it. Right here in the heart of it. At the Hippodrome. Yep, right at the Hippodrome. I was mad because I was like, damn, it was invite only because I was sure why I ain't get a ticket. But nope, not at all. PCG. I saw Chris Rock last year at Constitution Hall. We're going to get into it, y'all, because all the questions we had, all the questions we have for Chris Rock, did it hurt? Were you scared? He's answered it at the New York show. That's going to be filmed. That's going to be shown here. But people have been leaking out clips and stuff he said against their policy. So we're going to talk about what we know, what's out here, right? Good morning, Journey. Oh, yes. Yes, we definitely do. I'm going to hit you up on Twitter. The door is definitely open. I'm gonna hit you up on Twitter. All right, y'all. Before we get into anything, you already know how this goes. We're gonna get right into announcement. So I want to kick the show off. I truly want to kick the show off with positive news. It's a quote. It's a verbal quote, but stay. We need to hear this. I need it. When I heard it again, played 3 times for myself this morning, I said, oh, I got to get this for the crew. It literally was the last clip that I got for the show today. That really meant how much I really wanted y'all to hear this clip. It's very important, and it answers a really good question about why it's important for you to understand that you can't do anything where you're trying to achieve success alone. We can't do shit alone. We can't go at shit alone. But I think, I can't just say that to you. Y'all gotta hear this shit. This shit was very, very impactful the way she said it. I'm being dead ass honest with you. Y'all gotta hear this shit. So check this out, crew. Y'all get into her. Shout out to her for giving us. Shout out to Ben Crump for retweeting the post. And shout out to her for giving us the message. Let's check her out.
I'm going to try to tell the shortest version of this story possible. Years ago, there was a famous mathematician. His name was Yuri Treisman, taught at UC Berkeley. And in his class, his Asian students were doing amazing and his black students were flaming out of that class. And so this bothered him. He asked his colleagues, why are they flaming out? And his colleagues gave him a bunch of answers like, well, maybe they came from unprepared schools and, maybe they just don't understand the rigor. And he was like, nah, you can't get into this school without having like the academic chops. Like something is up. So he asked his black students, he said, can I observe you for the next couple of weeks and just see how you're engaging with this material? And what did he find? He found that the black students were actually studying more than the Asian students. But the key was they were studying alone. And the Asian students were studying in community. Fast forward, he made it mandatory that everybody would learn in groups and have learning communities. And within a couple of semesters, the black students were doing equally as well as the Asian students. What's my point? Stop trying to do everything by yourself. Stop struggling in isolation. Stop pushing help away. Stop feeling like I don't need anybody. Like, no, okay? Life is hard. And you can only take yourself so far. Self-made is never entirely self-made. Somebody had somebody somewhere give them a hand, an aid, a chance, something. So stop trying to do everything yourself and see how far you get this year.
Oh, when I was listening to this morning, I must have pulled out my phone and started reaching out to people. I just want to let you know I really appreciate it. Be little shit that I do. Like sometimes I'm writing professional papers and I got a friend who's a teacher, a high school teacher. I'll send my shit to him. Can you look this over? Just let me know what you think. I appreciate little shit like that. It ain't just me. Yeah, I can do stuff, but it takes a lot of people. These celebrities we want to chase after, these moguls and activists, all of that. It's a team behind them. So don't fool yourself thinking, hey, I'm going to do this on my own. I can, even I trick my own self. And I have to double back on it like, well, and I always try to pay it forward. Whomever need help, I'm going to put myself in a position to help because I know I needed help. And that's how I want to kick the show off today. I want you all to really to resonate with you. Be a blessing to someone and let someone be a blessing to you. And if they don't want to be a blessing to you, move on to another person. Redirect your energy. Don't be mad. And I wanted to share that with y'all. Shout out to her for that. And that ain't going to be the only time I play it. I listened to it 3 times. That's my 4th time. We're going to hear it one more time before the show is over with. And I also want to say to you all, Happy Women's History Month. Happy Women's History Month to the women of our crew family and to every woman, your mother, sister, auntie, nieces. Happy Women's History Month. I didn't have anything particularly planned to do this month around Women's History Month. I feel like, we talk about everything, Black history, women's history, everything. But what I do want to do is put together a panel of women from the crew and beyond, where I'm going to, it's going to, how I do the shows. Y'all know how I do it. It's going to be very structured, but there's going to be scenarios and I'm going to ask the women, can you explain what this means? And what I mean by that, it'll be something like, we hear women say this all the time. What does that mean? Now, it could be wrong. It could be true. It could be right. It could be wrong. It could be false. But I would love to hear various perspectives of women give their take on different stereotypes, different connotations, and different things that's attributed to women of today's society. So be looking forward to that. I don't have a date. I don't even have people I've selected or anything like that. I don't even know how it's going to come together, but I'm going to just put my neck out there. I'm going to ask some women to come together, maybe like 4 or 5 or 6, just to have a good number. And we're going to chat. So it's going to be in this month, but I'm still going to work on that. So happy Women's History Month. And shout out to all the women doing the work, and carrying the message forward. Shout out to you all. And be looking to them for that. I might have something over the weekend. And then also our question of the day, which I'll come back to in the middle of the show, not the end this time, the middle of the show. But you all know how I feel about trust. We talked about trust before. Y'all know how I am about trust. But I want to ask you all, who do you trust the most? Would it be your children? Would it be your parents? And if you don't have children, just look at the other 3. Parents, your best friend, or your significant other. And we're going to chat about what the answers mean. Like, if you chose one, what does that mean? And I was surprised about, who I chose and what that meant about me. So stay tuned. That's at the end of the show. Now we're gonna get right into local news. A lot of shit happening. But before I do that, can y'all please make sure y'all hit that like button for me? And if replay crew, if you here, please make sure you hit that like button for me. Now let's get right into local news. So today, reporting to you live. One day I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna come back from the screen. Today, reporting to you from WBLS. My name is Roman, and we are here today to talk about. I'm gonna do that one day. So first thing I want to get into is politics. Did you all hear about the Tennessee? Most of our stories are Tennessee based today. I don't know what's going on in Tennessee, but what's going on? So have y'all heard about the Republican in Tennessee who wants to bring back lynching? So we got to get into this. People went crazy, and I went crazy too, but I had to understand what they were talking about and also why it's still stupid. So, Tennessee Republican, his name is Paul Sherrill. He attempts to bring back lynching. Now, here's the thing. They were in a committee session on Tuesday. It was for their House Criminal Justice Committee. Now, at this committee session, they were discussing a proposed bill to add an additional um, execution method. Now, this is the reason why they have to add an additional execution method, because their lethal injection, which is the most popular in the state of Tennessee, has been failing. You expect to get that when you lethally inject someone on the first go round, they're out. They have more cases where people need 2 and 3 doses of lethal injections before they are actually executed. And that's a problem. It's a problem. Families can come sue them. A lot of shit can happen. So at this committee session, they were trying to figure out how we need to add another one. So the bill on the table was the firing squad. We'll add the firing squad. Now people were like, yeah, okay. They were weighing it. Then you had Paul Sherrill insert his old crater. I'm talking about moon after dark. You know how it's half moon? He walked his ass up there, crater face. And he goes on to say that in addition to that, why don't we just go ahead and add lynching? Like it was just regular conversation in a room full of his peers. And people were like, huh? Y'all check out what this man had to say.
Leader Sherrill. Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Representative Powers, for bringing this. I think it's a very good idea. And I was just wondering about, could I put an amendment on that? It would include hanging by a tree also. And also, I would like to sign on to your bill, sir. Thank you.
Lynching. We're in 2023, and you're talking about adding lynching? Okay. So he goes on to say that now they're in the middle of a committee session. So after this moment, they then go on a fucking break. Like there's a little break in between. I'm finna drop the membership link too. I saw your comment, the plainest Jane. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Marty, y'all see this link? Oh, you got it. Oh, you got it. Okay. Let me make sure. Thank you, Bobby. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. So he goes, this shit don't stop right there, y'all. So he goes in after that. He goes into, they go to a little break. So they go to a break, right? And before the break, then they go back to the session. He comes back and he feels bad. He wants to apologize. I didn't know the way. Now, here's some statistics. In the state of Tennessee, they have had 236 lynchings between 1877 and 1950. That's when they basically abolished it. They also have 46 people right now sitting on death row, some who are backlogged way past their time that they have not commuted because of this issue. And so this is a real big issue for them, but lynching just ain't it, my brother. I don't know the fuck you thought. So he knows it's bad now. Now at this point, he knows it's bad, right? He knows it's bad. So this is this man behind the scenes. Somebody pulled him as they're having a little break. Somebody stopped him like, bro, you know that's wrong. Check this motherfucker out.
Right? You want to bring back lynching people? How racist are you exactly, Paul? Just like 1 to 10. 1 to 10, how racist are you? Bring back stringing people up from trees, Paul? Is that really what you want? You think that's a step that's funny to you? You know how offensive that is, man? Do you have any idea how offensive that is? You know how offensive that is to so many people? Do you have any idea, Paul?
Good idea. And I was just wondering about, could
Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you for becoming a member of the Planet J. And thank you, Boo. Thank you for being a member. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really do. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, so here we go. Here we go. So he had this moment, right? It don't stop there. So now that history context I gave you all about Tennessee and having so many lynchings, right? And being one of the states who carried it out until 1950. 236 between 1877 and 1950. So much that some of the victims from 1950 and beyond, they still have family who live in Tennessee who were outraged by this. So you had them come back. And shout out to you. He started yelling out their names. Now watch the counterparts. He started yelling out victims of lynching. He started yelling their names out. And watch what the counterparts start doing. Cueing the music, pulling his mic. No, he did the right fucking thing. You want to bring lynching back? Well, let's talk about the victims. The hell wrong with y'all? In today's, I don't even understand how that even come up as a conversation. First of all, it's a federal hate crime. So you're going to lynch. I get we're letting marijuana go, even though marijuana is a federally controlled substance. But that's overreach. When you start willingly adding something like lynching, without even having context behind it.
I regret that I used some very poor judgment in voicing my support of a colleague's bill in Criminal Justice Committee. I sincerely apologize to anyone who may I have hurt or offended. Thank you.
I couldn't believe that I was hearing that. We've got to acknowledge that there is a cultural problem on the Hill. Make an effort to be better behind this. All of us need to work, but those who are silent in the face of those comments really need to work. It evokes the sordid history of not just Tennessee, but of America, of those days when lynchings were a common practice, when due process was denied to black men. Let's have a grown folks conversation. I wasn't alive back then either, but I can assure you that multi-generational trauma still exists. I probably would have accepted the apology a lot better if the representative had come to those on the committee and offered such an apology. It doesn't seem sincere to me when it's made public. I've tried to be a gentleman and scholar since I was elected, but to sit there and have a statement made that only evokes in the minds of anyone who has any sense of history of lynchings, racial lynchings, has pushed me past my point. Mr. Speaker, I'm looking forward to working with you in leadership on how we improve the tone, how we create a better atmosphere. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that.
Representative Howe, you're recognized.
We find ourselves here. This is a good comment. Wouldn't that be considered inhumane because you don't die instantly when you are hanged? And we'll be back in a situation where the lethal injections, how you go a whole state and your lethal injections don't work? First of all, let's start there. Let's start getting rid of staff. Let's start cleaning up there. What do you mean? We can lethally inject anything and they're knocked out. You can't do it right in the state. Sounds like it. Yeah, it sounds like that need to be reworked. So we got this here. Of course, Bay Hall came out. It's not going to be added. It was an oversight. It wasn't even funny. But you know what? This fucked up your career, sir. I know you may not feel it now. I know you may not see it now. But this moment and this mark is going to forever be in your career. Lynching. And how old are you to not know that that's something that you shouldn't even mention? That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not, I know he said it, but it's like He know that it's wrong, y'all. He knows saying something like that is wrong, and he still did it. Unless you know how comfortable these folks are. So that happened. I'm gonna stay in Tennessee for a little bit. Let's stay in Tennessee for a little bit. So that happened, right? Then all of a sudden, the governor then got caught out here. Now the governor is out here. Tennessee governor is out here pushing this. Just signed into law. This they call it an anti-gay, but it's the drag show bill. Basically saying that drag shows are considered adult entertainment and they cannot be in communities. You literally have to now start situating drag shows similar to how they do like the nude bookstores and stuff like that, far out. And so you have this state, they have that. So somebody went and uncovered a photo of the governor in drag clothing. And I said, what are y'all doing? Hard luck woman. Baby. Y'all check this out. Y'all get into this. And make sure y'all hit that like button. We still in politics this morning. We just covering a little light what's going on around the world, or around the United States. Haunted by cross-dressing. You got to be kidding me.
There are at least 15 states where Republican lawmakers are jumping in on the culture wars by demonizing drag. One of them is Tennessee, where Republican lawmakers have passed a bill that would criminalize drag performances in public and in front of children. The bill specifically targets male or female impersonators, aka drag performers. It would make doing drag in public a misdemeanor for the first offense and a felony for the second offense. Tennessee's Republican Governor Bill Lee said yesterday that he would sign the bill and says it would prevent children from being exposed to, quote, obscenities. Obscenities like, say, seeing a young man dressed up as a high school cheerleader. Well, this is a photo, purportedly, of Governor Lee from his high school yearbook.
Wow.
Hard luck. The person, again, allegedly a young Governor Lee, is dressed in a cheerleader's uniform and has accessorized his look with a wig and a pearl necklace. The governor addressed the yearbook photo, telling a reporter it is ridiculous to conflate that photo with the drag performances targeted.
How?
Santos up in drag at Carnival, or Governor Bill Lee dressing as hard luck woman. Drag is not the issue here. The hypocrisy is. If you want to dress up in a cheerleader's uniform, go for it. Just don't try and punish everyone else who wants to as well.
And that's what I wanted to say. So you doing that, and now you out here. No, sir. Baby, if I was in Tennessee and I was a reporter, every time that motherfucker stepped out, my first question would be, so can you tell us back then, what brand of dress did you choose to wear? I'm curious. And did you have on makeup? I know. We're curious. You're mad because people enjoy going to drag shows. Actually, drag brunches is a very popular thing now. Drag brunches on a Sunday. Very popular. I didn't even know it was that popular until me and Duchess went out. And I was like, oh, this must be really a thing. I come back here, they do drag brunches almost everywhere. Now it's a competition of who got the best, drag queens at these shows. So now you all want to cut that in half, but come to find out you out here doing it yourself. Now I'm telling you, this is just how them down low men and all that kind of shit get uncovered. You can have fun with it, because I'm sure when you did this, you were having fun. Oh, I'm just having fun. It's dress up day. But it's only for you. Okay, we watching. I'm going to stay tuned. We still watching. He wasn't even cute and had the nerve to put on a pearl necklace. Don't he know what a pearl necklace means in some instances? I can't. Not accessory. Shaking my head. Some of these southern states are really showing their true. They really are. They're crying for it. Just reeks. We see our population fading. And it's not the case. We're a melting pot. America's a melting pot. Nobody's going to fade away. We're just melting. We're blending in. People are joining. Races are coming together. It's a lot of interracial dating. It's a lot of stuff going on. But to sit there and think that it's a little insecure. It's a little insecure to me. It's like, oh, I see the insecurities. Laws for thee and not for me is burning fire at the state next. Okay, grown folk conversations. Where have I heard of black people saying grown folk tea? Yeah, that's gay for pay. Let's be clear. That stands for gay for pay TV. Okay, Right. I don't agree with lynching. Too associated with black men and hate crimes. I do think we should come up with other death sentences options. I'm all for an eye for an eye. Rika, come through. Rika, that would be that's no, I'm all for that. Okay. We watching. We watching. What you do in your bedroom is not my problem. I'm a diehard liberal, but in mine's my business. Okay. I love them. I enjoy them too. I do. I definitely do. So that's the governor. Now let's stay in Tennessee. Child, you know Maggie from the Tennessee Police Sex Scandal. Good old Megan Hall. You know, y'all remember her. She was slutted out by all of them. Just ran through them. Baby, she's speaking. She is out here talking. She is out here talking. And let me tell you this before we continue in this story. This is the fucking problem. Men who have issue controlling their dick. Who was I on channel I was on the other day? I was listening to Brianna. She has some dude up there, and he was talking about men and women can't be friends. If I'm around a woman, we either fucking or not. Okay, with that mentality, continue listening to this story. See, here's where you get yourself in trouble. Now, we all saw this story. I talked about the story. We covered it. And frankly, we came to a conclusion. The girl she was down for the okie doke. She was around for the okie doke. She was down for it. Well, see, here's the problem. When there's a culture, when that becomes the culture of the office, it's no longer just her problem when she's the minor in that issue. See, if it was a bunch of women that had a culture office, office culture where men had to take off their shirts, and one man was taking off his shirt in this office, and it blew up, it's going to be what was the culture. That man is going to claim, well, I had to. This was part of what they made me do, even the top down. And what you think she did? Baby, she out here talking. I said, she got a good ass attorney. What it is she got an attorney. She has a good ass attorney so much that the union was like, look, we're not giving no comments. We have nothing to say. Now, you know damn well, typically in any situation, the union is out here. They didn't do nothing, and the union is like, you know what? You know what? But she gave us some details. She gave us some more details. So we're gonna listen to her, but let me break it down so you know what to listen to when we hear from her. So, former office fired after sex scandal sues the Tennessee department alleging sexual grooming. Baby, she said she was groomed. She said she was groomed. Okay, groomed. Now let me tell you how grooming works. Grooming is the kind of allegation that no matter if I was complicit in texting you back or complicit in doing what you wanted me to do in the office, grooming literally means that my mind was at the time I couldn't make my own decisions because there was someone else making those decisions for me because there was some other control mechanism. Here, she worked for them in the office. School, you know, when they say, you know, teachers are grooming children, you're a teacher. Older men are grooming younger women, you're older. So here, she's playing grooming. She's going grooming. Now I'm just reporting what I read. I ain't got no ands, ifs, or buts about it. I ain't choosing no side. I'm still at where I was. They all was fucking around in this office, in this department. They all need to be off the lane, off the hook. Now, if she decides to sue them, that's up to her. I'm just gonna talk to y'all about it. So let's talk about it. So she goes and says, a former Tennessee police officer who was fired amid revelations of casual sex alleges in a federal lawsuit that she was subjected to sexual grooming at work. Now, what's key here? She said, fuck going to state, fuck going to local. She took her shit to the federal court. Now, there's a higher for her, there's a higher burden. Like now she's at a higher threshold. And if she felt like I'm gonna go to the federal government, I'm gonna reach this higher burden, now it's up to it's gonna totally be up to this police department to defend themselves versus going state where it's lower. You know, they're gonna side with each other. We've seen that before and talked about it, how the states and the police departments are all connected. So she decided to go federal court. Now let's talk about what she said. So she said that during her employment, She was groomed to engage in sexually exploitive activities by men in the department. She argued that she was set up and ultimately harmed by the intimate interactions and by her subsequent firing because her work environment was sexually charged. Now, get this, from the beginning of her employment, she says she's experienced a workplace environment permeated with sexual innuendo and sexually explicit behavior. Now, I got to stop. I gotta stop. That's what she said. So me first question is, can you tell me the first time you reported an instance, any instances of you facing sexual innuendos, being spoken to in a sexually inappropriate way, or being sexually harassed? Did you report? And I'm saying that for a reason, crew, because we've noticed in these stories that oftentimes a lot of the stuff goes unreported until the last minute. So I saw that. I said, "Did you report? I mean, did you slide a note under somebody's door?" Now, granted, she said that the whole office was complicit, up to the deputy, up to the sergeant, the lieutenant, everybody. Everybody was trying to get in on it. She even went as far as to say that the male colleagues discussed the attractiveness of women and traded stories about their intimate experiences, that an officer told her that he wanted to have sex with her, and that two officers exchanged photos of their thing in front of her. I said, all of this was going on. All of this was going on. Now, here's the thing, back to what I said earlier. All those men with the, I can't be around a woman because, I'm a man. I'm a man. And, we can't be friends because I'm going to have to fuck her. First of all, you sound ignorant as hell. You sound immature. And anybody who thinks like that, you need to go lock yourself up. Women are every fucking where, and you can't control yourself. That was so ignorant of him to say. And it'd be times where I'd be wanting to hit people link and just go off. But I'd be like, it's the wrong place, wrong time. So ignorant. So fucking ignorant. But you see what happens, right? So when you have those kind of men, and you have these kind of cultures where, colleagues discussing the attractiveness of women and trading stories about that, I can see it now. Girl, you fine. Girl, you good as hell. You looking good today. And then trading sexuals, I did. What's the name? And then swapping dick pics. Hell, the gay niggas do it. So I can just only imagine the pics being swapped. But I didn't know they trading with each other. This clearly says two officers exchanged photos of their genitals in her presence. Huh? What? What? Hold up now. What? Y'all, you said, here's my dick. What yours look like? Is that what we doing? Okay. Listen, I didn't say it. I read it. And I said, oh, so she didn't get the photos. They just exchanged in front of her presence. Y'all that horny? Y'all willing to get down with the get down? Shit, had me being in the office, I'd have been open for the swap. What? And what you got? And we traded. What you got? I'd have been in, what we doing? What you got? What you got? So she went on to say that. Now she didn't stop. She didn't just stop there. She continued to say that they told her that we know you have tattoos and we want to see all of your tattoos, right? So they said, we want you to get naked and show us all of your tattoos. What do you think she did? She got naked and showed them all of her tattoos. And again, I asked, was this reported? Because it could have been. We don't know yet. It could have been reported. But was this reported? Was it reported? Can anybody else say, yeah, I remember that. That was that Tuesday. She came into the office. She was crying. I wrote a whole report up. Because then it's somebody else who should be in trouble. She also said that she was groomed by them from the beginning of her employment. From day one of starting this job, she said she was groomed. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I start a job day one and it ain't working out how I wanted to work out, I'm forced to do some shit that I don't want to do, that I don't want to do, I know Roman is going to be out. I know me. So my question becomes, at what point did it become intolerable? Was it that it got exposed, or you were so groomed that you felt too scared to say anything? Because these are questions we all got. I've been all over Twitter looking like, okay, in the comments, what everybody's saying. Okay. So we 50-50 here. A lot of people, we see you, girl, but you Soon as they slid that dick pic, you looked and was like, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, a couple of them could have kept that dick pic though. No shade and no tea. No shade, all tea. Wait, all shade and ain't no tea there. Ain't nothing, no tea there. You could have kept that pic, bro. Now let's. So I'm not done, y'all, because we got to listen to her. But I want to crew. I'm not trying to be funny or shady. I'm not. Look at her. Look at her now. Look at her then, right? I want y'all to look at this picture of her then. Look at this. Okay. Look at her. I'm about to play a clip of her. She looks so. Stop, Roman. It's Women's History Month. You cut it out right now. You cut it out right now. Y'all check her out. Y'all check her out. Y'all check her out. Oh, shit. This girl out here looking like a golf puck in the face. What? Just shout to the crew. Can y'all hit that like button for me, too?
Findings of sexual misconduct rocked the Laverne Police Department. 5 officers and the police chief all fired.
One of those officers, Megan Hall, became the face of the scandal and the target of nationwide ridicule, and she's now filed a federal lawsuit.
Tonight, in an exclusive interview with our Nick Barris, Hall describes a toxic workplace behind closed doors and how sexual misconduct spiraled out of control.
Megan Hall was 24 years old when she was hired as an officer here at the Laverne Police Department 2 years ago. Her plan was to have a career in law enforcement. She now knows that dream is likely over.
I remember while interviewing for the position at Laverne Police Department, they described the environment as a family. However, while I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
By now, most of the country knows what happened. Hall, 4
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to come back. What? Who failed to protect you? Ma'am, I am personally trying to be understanding. What? And do y'all see this? Do you see the mug? Do you see the mug? Whoa. So this is her plea, y'all. This is where she's going with this. The entire police department failed to protect me. And all I see is, I don't want to say it till afterwards because I don't want y'all to be like, Roman, you always going there. No, but it is.
other officers and the police chief were fired last month. This after 2 separate investigations found that Hall engaged in sexual activity and or shared intimate photos and videos with several male officers. The chief and 2 sergeants were among those implicated. Now Hall and her attorney, Wesley Clark, are suing those 3 supervisors and the city in federal court for civil rights violations.
Megan wasn't looked at like a rookie cop to be trained and promoted. She was looked at as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
Since the story broke, Hall, the lone female officer...
I gotta come back. I gotta come back. I gotta come back. So if you tell me that Megan was not treated like a female officer, she was treated like a piece of meat, I'm going to need you to this is what I'm going to need you to do. Over the last 5 to 10 years, every female officer who worked in that role that she's in that proximity of that office, I'm going to need either some testimony, something to validate this claim. Because if she hasn't brought a paperwork each step of the way, I can't just go off of this. This is I just can't go off, and this is me not wanting to believe her, but this is me saying, hey honey, you need a little bit more. You can't just that don't work. It don't work like that. So let's continue.
Fired, and only woman on the second shift, became a target nationwide for sexual jokes and taunting.
I received harassing and threatening messages on my phone daily. I felt like I'd been terrorized.
And yes, now she is suing. No criminal charges have been filed in the case. Hall knows there are those who will say she was a consenting adult who willingly participated in sexual antics in violation of police department policy, and that now she wants to blame others, including one sergeant who targeted her early on.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no, and he wouldn't take it for an answer.
And did you report it?
Eventually, I gave in from pressure.
So it's not as easy to say she could have just said no.
She did say no on several occasions. Miss Hall tried to get out of this relationship, and she was not allowed to.
Hall concedes she participated under duress. She's not saying she was raped, but adds that the salacious details made public of sex on the job put her alone center stage and do not tell the whole story.
They isolated me, they shunned me, they accused me, and they blamed me for becoming a victim.
Hall suffered from depression to the point of considering suicide, and at one point was hospitalized. She felt trapped.
My supervisors worked together to take advantage of my vulnerabilities and my mental health. And they used it for their gain and sexual pleasure.
And that included the police chief, Chip Davis. The independent investigation found he was aware of what was going on and even received intimate photos and videos of Hall.
Who do you even turn to when the chief of police is sexually harassing you? How could I get justice when the entire system, including the chief, not only condoned such behavior, but participated in it? I was lost and I felt alone. I had no one to turn to, and I had nowhere to go.
Hall now realizes her career in law enforcement is likely over, and she knows those ugly memes on social media will remain forever, her reputation sullied.
No woman should ever have to endure this type of abuse. What happened to me during my employment at Vergne's police department, it should never happen to anyone.
Hall now hopes to put what happened to her here at the Laverne PD behind.
All I keep thinking about was like, so I even tell y'all, I kept looking at her face like, really, girl? You was in there just all this knocking. I'm looking at her like, really? It'd be the ones you never think. It'd be the ones you least expect. I'm looking at her like, for real? Okay, listen. Do what you have to do legally to protect yourself. The same thing, the same advice I gave to Gunna in his situation. If you feel like you were the victim and there was this culture of sexual grooming going on, by all means, take full responsibility of your own rights and go ahead, sue the Laverne Police Department. Now, here's my thing though, because I know it's gonna come up. Please be sure that you have evidence that there was a culture of sexual grooming. Because simply saying that I did tell them no, I hear the vulnerability in it. I do get it. I don't want to be desensitive. I hear it. I think the problem with it is that it wasn't just one time. It was multiple times, multiple men, various different days. And then we didn't find out about it, sweetheart. We didn't know anything about it, Megan, until you all were exposed. Somebody told on you all. And so that just leads us to believe. So will you just let this go on? Would you, I know you say you don't want to tell the chief, but there was other options you could have done. And if you're doing this right, you could have got a big bag out of this. Big bag. Shame on the police officers. Shame on them. We still gonna shame the fuck out of them. Shame. Because I do believe that there are offices in the world where men and women work together in these environments where it's like male dominated. And I do think it's a culture. I always think about when I go to like AutoZone stores, I recently went one to get some stuff for my car. And when I see women in there and I see all these different men, I always think like, I wonder what this culture is like. I do see that. Not all places, but I know that there are some places that, that culture exists. And now let this be a sign. Fuck around if you want to. You will lose your job and your career, and you'll be shamed. Some people like it. Yeah, I was slinging. That was me. I was one of them. But you're an asshole. That's dumb. You don't want to be a cop no more. And women who find themselves in these situations, when you're scared to make those steps and moves and like document and all that good stuff, remember this case where she's the one that's being shamed and looked at as a slut, um, because she simply didn't get out ahead of this before it got out of control. Now, whether she was complicit or not, that's still debatable. That ain't up for me. That ain't up for me to talk about. That's not up for me to talk about. But girl, I'm just trying to figure out: are you dating? Like, I know I know her phone got to be off the hook. I know she got to have a few motherfuckers like, you all right, my book, girl. You still good with me? Nasty, just nasty dogs. Just nasty. She liked it until she didn't like it no more. Okay. Hey, Stacey Robertson, good morning. Hey, boo. Thank you. I'm glad you caught the live too. Thank you, girl. You tripping. You get you a lawyer. Hey, Risa. Good morning, Risa. Rico the Brad, not a victim. She was a whole volunteer. Okay. Roman, you thinking what I'm thinking, girl? First thing I said was I put it on the screen. You playing the victim role, okay? And she got a nerve to be up. Did you see her face? I said they did all of that. I'm not trying to. We were just expecting something different. That's all I'm gonna say. I was expecting something different. After seeing this, I mean, even this was fine. It's when that chin get to moving. It's like, oh, girl, down on the talking. Let's not talk too much. So this is where we are. She's filing a lawsuit. Do I think it's going to go anywhere, any movement? I think it's going to be a hell of a fight for her. I do think it's going to be a fight, but she could find some resolve somewhere. But I do think it's going to be a hell of a fight. Now, let's get into another story. Now, we're going to move out of Tennessee. Whew. Jeez Louise, Tennessee popped up in my timeline. Let's go to this other story. So we got this woman in New Jersey, right? She had been living in this place. There's two situations going on in this story that's wrong. Okay, she had been living in this place for 7 years. 7 years renting now. Now renting for 7 years. I know my rent, whatever. Renting for 7 years. She lived in her home. She had like 30 cats in there. It was just her, and so the owner had been telling her like, look, I want to sell the home to these individuals, but they don't want the home unless you're out of it. So you got to move. So he'd been telling her this for about a year. She didn't, I ain't going nowhere. I've been here all this, and you ain't going to put me out. So it came to the final day where they were like, yo, you got to go. So the police came over to her house to serve her an eviction, right? She boarded herself in the house, didn't come out. Police standing back like, now what the fuck wrong with this bitch? Girl, this just an eviction notice. You all right? You gonna be fine. This just a notice. Baby, she done turned all the gas on in the house and opened a match. Lit a fucking match. Not only did she burn down her own home and her cats, but she offed herself. All trying to prove a point that I'm not moving out this house. Now, I do think her family, the estate, I definitely do think that they can take some legal matters against that homeowner to court. You can sell a house with a tenant in it. I think there's some statutes that limit you being able to forcefully evict someone out of a. You can not renew her lease, but you can't evict her out. You got to go to court. Like, I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, they really 7 years of paying rent, and you just do that to her, poor lady. Now she's literally not here. She's literally not here, and it's not funny, but she's literally not here off of a notice. This happened this past Friday, so y'all check out this. Rest in peace. Crazy ass story. Y'all rest in peace, and make sure y'all hit that like button for me though. For me though, in the words of Rico, I felt like I had a Rico moment with my dog. I said that yesterday. I said, "You gonna beat Bella? Keep fucking with me. It's gonna be Bella." I kept shout out to Rico. I'm sorry, Rico, but I did. I almost murked my dog. I almost gave him a pop, the Rico pop. I almost told Eli, "You gonna get the Rico pop? Keep playing with me. Keep playing with me." Yes, for my clips coming up.
fight ended with this massive and deadly fire in New Jersey. It started when a woman's landlord tried to evict her, and in response, police say the woman set the house on fire. News 4's Brian Thompson in Roosevelt with some new information this afternoon. Brian?
Yeah, David, we are told indeed it was an eviction attempt on a woman who had lived here for several years. Now, Chopper 4 was over the scene just not long after the fire broke out. The flames consistent with a natural gas fire, matching one report we had that, the woman had turned on the gas in the house and then lit a match rather than face an attempt from the landlord to evict her. Now, she did not survive, according to sources telling us that she has died and deceased. A woman who lived in the attached house told us what she saw.
It looks unlivable.
Your house, though?
My house. The other house, I don't even think it's there. A lot of stuff. 22 years there.
Now, the mayor here was reported saying that the owner wanted to evict her in order to sell the house. What we do know is she was a pet lover and had taken care of people's pets around this neighborhood in small town of Roosevelt. Neighbors telling us she likely had as many as 30 cats inside, which is why animal control has been on the scene all afternoon. They're telling me they are looking for any cats that may have escaped. But as of about half an hour ago or so, they say they had not found any. But that it is.
She should have let her cats out at least. I'd have let him out. I'd have opened the door or something.
Thompson, News 4 New York.
I'm about to light. I'm about to light this bitch up. Go on. I'd have been throwing shit up. Go. And I'd have ran out myself. But again, we don't know. No, my thing is that I assume that eviction is only after someone doesn't pay their rent. I didn't know that, she was a rent paying tenant. So I assume that in order for them to get her out, they just would have to end her lease. Like say, at the end of this lease for this year that we signed, you're going to have to be out. But to go, I'm that's why I was confused. I'm like, wow, just end her lease. What do you mean? Like, what, just say at the end of this term and then you sell. Well, how greedy. So that's why I said maybe the estate can look at this and see if maybe some of her rights were violated. I don't know, but I think this is the worst way to go out, baby. With your poor animals. I mean, she liked it until she didn't like it no more. 30 cats. 30 cats. People do nonsensical things in desperation. Maybe she did not have anywhere else to go, and this was some sort of effect because of that. Never know where someone's mental is. You never know, Risa. If they didn't take it to the courts, they clearly didn't understand the proper and legal way to evict. Your animals are like your kids, and they will take you there sometimes. Baby. If they told her a year ago she had enough time to get out. That's what I'm saying. So if they told you a year ago, why didn't they end the lease? Or maybe they did end the lease. Maybe they did end the lease. I don't know, y'all. Maybe they did end the lease. Yeah, if the sheriff was there, they did go to court in 12 months. More than enough time to get out. And she was just resisting eviction. No, you can evict people for more. Oh, see, I didn't know that. Baby, I didn't know that. I'm sure they did. Unruly behavior or if the landlord has sold the home. Oh, so okay. So it was justified. Damn. I know that house was funky with 30 cats. Wouldn't have been no way I was going up in there. 30 cats? Come on, lady. You're doing a little too much. All right. Now let's get into Alex Murdaugh. Oh my goodness. This has been so crazy. And I'm so glad that Netflix did the Netflix series on it, because I had watched it and I wondered why they had released it so late, because everything unraveled in the fall of last year, but they were waiting for the court. So Alex Murdaugh has been sentenced, you all. He's been sentenced for killing his wife and son. And it was so interesting because the jurors were able to go visit the site where this Paul and Maggie, the mom, were shot and killed. So let's get into this, okay? Let's get into this. And we're gonna also look at him in his final when they say, you are convicted. See his face. He dropped like he's surprised. You surprised? Nigga, we know you did it. And we know you killed the housekeeper too. So let's talk about it. So just a brief recap of Alex Murdaugh. Let me tell you, he was a 50-year-old man, okay? Wife Maggie, and had two sons, Paul and another son. Now, he came from a dynasty family. 80 7 years of them running the janitor, the what is it called? Their local prosecutor's office through 3 generations. So they had already been running the area. Ain't shit go on. You ain't doing nothing. It ain't nothing moving. So back in 2018, right? For some odd reason, his longtime housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, she slips and fall. Okay, she slips and fall in the home in 2018. This is the first we start seeing bullshit going on with this Murdaugh family. So she slips and trips in the home, and the family decides to sue the estate. Now, what we didn't know, which came out in the case, is that the family and Alex Murdaugh concocted a plan together after this happened for them to sue him for the $500,000, for him to get it from his insurance company and then give it to them. Guess what he did? He kept it, baby. So that was the first time something, it's been going on. Then 2019, his son, Paul, and I'm sure we saw it and we talked about it here. His son, February 24th, he out boating, drunk as hell too. You gotta watch the documentary. Make sure you watch the documentary. Drunk as hell, drunk fucking boots. He was so drunk that he realized that, we shouldn't even drive. Let's just boat. Let's boat. See, they had that luxury because if he was driving, he'd have crashed. So he decided to boat. So they boat. They're going to do some oysters on the grilling oysters and some shit like that. And so they're eating them. They're having a good time. Now, what we didn't know, what came out is that in the documentary is that Paul had been beating on his girlfriend during this time. I'm like, she was getting, I'm always shocked about, teenage domestic violence because I, of course, didn't experience it. And none of my friends told me whether or not they were getting at that age. It wasn't until I got into college where I started hearing stories from my friends like, for real? I never got that in high school. So it'd be traumatizing to me like, girl, for real? So the girl, she's on the documentary. She was talking about it too, y'all. She was talking about, so this night in particular, let's go. So this night in particular, after they're done eating the oysters or whatever, he's drunk boots. His girlfriend's mad. She's like, let's go. You shouldn't drive. Somebody else should. And so they all get on a boat and he decides to slap her in the face and punch and choke her up and slap her because she was telling him he shouldn't drive. And so I would have got the fuck. This is me. Oh no, I can see me now. Oh hell no, bitch. I'm getting off. I'd have jumped off that motherfucker. I would have jumped off that bitch at that time. You slapping me, you showing out. But see, he been doing that. That's his thing. Where does that come from? Where would you think something like that comes from? And what would that lead you to believe if he's doing it? If he's doing it, what you think the father doing? What you think the father doing? Where you think he saw that shit at? So this happens. Now there's another allegation that comes along, right? So they're in the boat. He basically tries to boat back. He hits a rock, a boulder rock. What's her? Mallory. I get them all confused. Mallory ends up flying out the boat. They can't find her. And so Alex arrives on scene and he's trying to concoct the whole story behind the scene. Yeah, because again, 3 generations at the local prosecutor's office. This man has been running this shit. So the police playing the card too. The police is, okay. So Paul gets charged. Paul also gets charged. He received, 2 years of probation in April 20th, 2020. When the boat crashed, he went not guilty, but he was indicted. And so then it brings us to another allegation. The other son allegedly and apparently was having relations with some boy at the school. And one night this boy was driving home in the street. Now this boy he was androgynous. So you could tell that, he was of the LGBTQ community. And so apparently the other son and his friend was driving down this dark road while the guy was walking down the road and They either got into some fight, they got into some tussle, and he's no longer here. So that happened. Then we get to 2021. This is the night where we find out that the son and the wife is gone. Now, what's interesting is that right before then, his job had came to him and said, Alex, we're missing about, $792,100,000. And he was like, he kind of pushed back like this. Same night, same time this happened, he goes home. Well, apparently leave it up to him what he was saying. He didn't go home. His wife, he calls 911 that same night. His wife and son, he found them shot in the backyard. Okay, of an isolated area where like only his property is. In my mind I was like, okay, he's trying to tie all these murders and everything happening to him to his job. They're accusing me of this, so they came after my family. I see the setup. So he shortly after that happened, he calls 911. He tells the officers on the scene he was not at the crime scene that night. He says he had visited his ailing mother in Alameda and returned to find his wife and son dead. Come to find out, he was there the whole fucking time. He didn't go nowhere. They found out on the ping on his phone. Well, it don't stop there. This man is sick in the brain. So September 2021, when he decides to resign from his firm, the next day, the man calls 911 because he reported being shot in the arm. He was taken to a hospital. It was a superficial gunshot wound to the head. I said, what? So all of this happens, and we're supposed to believe that you are not involved in anything. So the man was sentenced. And it was so precious for me to watch him actually be sentenced, to listen to him. I felt bad for this woman because then the family tried to then ask, the police department to arrest him because he didn't pay us our money. This is fraud. So they did arrest him for this. He went to rehab, and then as soon as he got out of rehab, they arrested him because of him not paying that family the $500,000. And he's never been out of jail since. And so now we're here. He's been sentenced. What a fucking crazy story. One, you have to believe that man didn't give a fuck about nobody. He didn't care about nobody but himself and his name at all. I believe he was cheating on his wife. I believe he was beating his wife. All the classic signs of a narcissistic ass person. I believe that he didn't respect his sons, because if you respected him, you'd have whooped your son ass for getting into an accident. You wouldn't have came and tried to save the day. That's respect. That ain't respect. Ain't, let me get you out of this so you can line you up so you can do it again. What? He's a young man. He's gonna want to do it again. I also feel like the whole Paul and the boating situation, I felt like the father should have been on the handle for that. That's your child, your boat. So I felt like it was clear as day. He's not being charged. They're trying to sweep this under the rug. And so it led me to believe this, y'all. This is what this led me to. And we talk about it here all the time. When you don't learn your lessons early in the game, somehow, some way, they come back to bite your ass because you haven't. And here, he thought he could get away with everything. I ain't saying he did it, but it's odd how the housewife slipped and fall. It's odd. Okay, very odd. And then how quickly you are to negotiate with the family. All right, you all can sue me and I'll get it from the insurance company. You get the money, but you don't give it to them. Okay, these are the signs. And then when we look at your children, your son, Paul, just nasty little boy, nasty. You can tell he comes from privilege. Nasty. See, lessons. So you got this nasty son accidentally kills someone because of his drunken behavior. You got your other child accidentally takes the life of someone he was allegedly having relations with. And then we pose this to this point. You're running a whole scam at your job, corrupting millions of your clients out of money. So then we have your job saying, hey, bruh, what's going on? So we're there. That same time that happens, your wife and son murdered. Because what? The lesson there, you didn't learn it, bro. You didn't learn. You think you can get away with everything. All this shit happened. Y'all see it? The maid. My son, we'll get you. But we got you, though. Your other son. And now your job is exposed. That exposes you. And you couldn't deal with that shit. You couldn't deal with that shit. Clear classic sign of a narcissistic individual. Insecurity, can't deal with that shit. So you off your wife and you off your son. Clearly you didn't love them at all. Because what the motive was that? Somebody was after me. And you don't stop there. Then when you resign from your job, the next day you shoot yourself in the head. Yeah. So I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for this man at all. I'm gonna try to get this clip. What do y'all think? So he's been convicted 2 counts of murder, as well as 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. His hearing is scheduled today at 9:30 a.m. in South Carolina's county. Prosecutors said they will seek life in prison without the possibility of parole, sparring Murdaugh the death penalty. Why? Why we stopping there? So y'all check this clip out. I just can't. I just can't. I can't at all. And oh, wrong screen. I wish I would. And then well, let me stop. Then you got this other son out here putting up signs and putting up money saying, anybody got any information? Anybody got any information? You got his brothers out here having interviews saying, yeah, when he told me he was so distraught, I'd be looking at you all too as complicit players. Everybody gonna be looked at. The fuck? Y'all check Alex Murdaugh out. And coming up next is Shanquella.
Guilty verdict.
Jurors found Alec Murdaugh guilty of murdering his wife Maggie and his son Paul. They were shot to death in June of 2021 at the sprawling property the family owned in Colleton County, South Carolina.
I would never hurt Maggie Murdaugh. I would never hurt Paul Murdaugh under any circumstances.
During the trial, the once prominent lawyer took the stand in his own defense, insisting he did not kill his wife and 22-year-old son, but he did admit to stealing millions from his clients and firm. He also admitted he lied when he told investigators he hadn't been at the scene shortly before the murders.
There is only one person who had the motive, who had the means, who had the opportunity to commit these crimes.
Prosecutors argued Murdaugh's financial crimes were about to be exposed, so he killed his wife and son in an effort to move the focus away from the missing money. His defense lawyers called that motive theory outlandish.
Totally illogical, irrational, and insane. Those are the words I wrote down. For someone to kill their loved ones when their criminal conduct is being exposed.
The case against Murdaugh had been circumstantial. Investigators never found the murder weapons or bloody clothes, and there were no eyewitnesses. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, Walterboro, South Carolina.
This is the kind of shit I would never want to be a part. If it means that we got to have 3 generations to run shit, and we got to deal with this kind of shit just to keep up the image, count Roman out. I will go move to the other side of the country. That's just, I can't keep up with the craziness. I was reading y'all comments. Y'all got a lot of great things to say. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for staying here, rolling through. We engaging. I appreciate it. I really be into these topics, and it's so good to see that y'all be into them too. Thank you. Mind you, they forced him to resign because they found he was misappropriating funds. Ridiculous. Alex unalived his wife and youngest son because they found pills, etc., that he was taking opioids and other drugs. Once that happened, Alex knew that. Hey, Shantae, thank you for coming through. Dale Murdaugh family, throw Buster to the wolves next for Stephen's murder to save the family name. That's all this was about. That's all it was about. We're going to find out today. But they're pushing for life. They're pushing for life. I think the wife off the housekeeper because she is the one who discovered his. That's right. That's right. That's why the maid. That's why it was so interesting. And that's what I also don't get, why the family felt like couldn't push this forward themselves. Y'all really thought y'all needed, y'all didn't need, y'all had a whole thing here. And you're right, the wife could have been complicit. And which leads me to which will makes more sense why he will be a motive for wanting to kill your wife. Because if she know that secret, yeah. Shout out. Even a car passing by calling 911 and speaking with dispatch said it looked like a setup. Okay, Rico, Bobby, TC, thank you. Just stopping by to say hello. Thank you, TC. It's good to see you. I hope all is well. Happy New Year. So the family didn't conspire with him to brush aside the death of the maid. They simply agreed to receive the payout from the insurance company as a settlement. That's why they arrested him for fraud. That's it. See, the family assumed it was a slip and fall too. There was no, yeah, okay, we know you did it. They assumed it. But they were trying to get him to come out of his own pocket to say, what you gonna do for us? So he basically said, well, y'all sue me and y'all get the insurance money. It'd be fine. You'll be great. He gets, not realizing the check is gonna be cut to this man. It should have been cut to y'all. And so he got the check and kept it pushing, kept it moving. And so they finally got it with the police department. That woman was definitely going for that divorce. And what do divorces reveal? Numbers. When those books and forensic accountants link up, his house of cards would have come falling down. Baby, that's so true. Look at y'all. Keep it coming. All he saw his whole life was his family getting away with all types of crimes, even murder. I think if they look for, girl, yes, they'll find more than 5 bodies. I put my money on it. I put my money on that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all too coincidence. Ain't it? It's all too much of a coincidence. Wait, one of them was seeing that boy on the highway. I didn't catch that. I thought this murder was out of convenience of them being drunk and dumb. But what? Oh yeah, they said that on the documentary too. Yep. They both came up with trip over dog story. Yep. The oldest son, Bubba. I couldn't think of the name, Bubba. And it's so weird how you always find the stories like this creep up in a situation. It's all I always say. I said, now where's the story? Where's the other story? Baby, I think you was right. I think he was. I may have to go back and watch the last episodes because, baby, wait. So the boy who was killed on the highway was killed by the son that he was sleeping with. Yep, allegedly. Sickening. But they got no justice from that. No justice, no nothing from that at all. And the whole town was phobic. Okay, that's another thing. He off them though. They were a problem for him, wasn't he? Man, the web, some folks weave when it all crumbles. They do the wildest things, don't they? The family name is done. Okay, I wonder if Buster knows and is okay with knowing his father off Paul. I think the son hurt the maid. His mom probably helped him clean it up. Also, you think them two had something to do with it because it's just a coincidence that he got those two. How is it an accident when you run over someone, you bump in purpose? What was he doing with all the money he stole from the firm and insurance money? That is the thing. It had to be drug related. It had to be drug related. Did they figure that out? They didn't talk about a lot of that on the documentary, but it has to be drug related. Yes, divorce is horrible. Hey, good morning, PCG. Oh, look at that. King Roman News, sister wifey. That is learned behavior. 3 generations that family had the prosecutor's office locked down. They've been doing this. There are bodies from them prior generations too. That's learned behavior. Yes, yes, yes. All right, y'all. Let's talk about Shanquella. Well, to end that story, one of the biggest things I wanted to say, and I think I wrapped it up in the story, is take your lessons. I'm serious. People who are narcissistic, if you feel like you're growing up to be a narcissist, you gotta take, even if you are, everybody got a little narcissism in themselves. There's a little bit of too much self-awareness. Never be afraid to take your lessons, because all of us can grow up too big and get too wide and too whatever. Take your lesson, for you go too far thinking you the only one and ain't nobody gonna stop you before you get stopped. And your stop is life in prison. Dead ass. There's no reason why you got 3 generations and y'all motherfuckers can't get it right at all. Through the whole family. You fucked your whole family up. So it'll be interesting. It's gonna. I think also the other biggest thing here is we haven't heard really much from like Bubba, or we haven't heard really much from his brothers. I think a lot of us want to hear from them, and I'm wondering if GMA is gonna have that first interview or not. But whenever they do, we're gonna be back here to talk about it. Shout out to the crew. All right, let's get into Shanquella. We got some updates, baby. Shanquella. Listen, everything we said about her family and about what they need to be doing, they're doing it. I have to give them their credit. They are doing it. Everything we said for them to do, they are doing what we said. We said, y'all gonna have to go there out there yourself and find out. Maybe they just got back from Mexico. We're gonna talk about what they found out, and we're gonna talk about what they know. Okay. And we got another player in this game, Ben Crump. Now, I'm not mad at Ben Crump. I'm certainly proud of him. But, I mean, damn, Ben. Can it be Ben Crump and you got to start putting some other folks on, too. Ben Crump here now. So, shout out to Ben Crump. So, Shanquella attorney, Sue Ann Robinson, she has just returned from Mexico, and she's here to give us some details. Now, before I give you, the details, let me just tell you what I know. So she basically came back. First of all, she was pissed off. She was pissed off because she didn't felt like, listen, my client's child passed away over here in Mexico. Okay. It shouldn't be no reason that y'all know I'm coming, but y'all don't act like y'all prepared for me or greeting me, receiving me. Damn near didn't even know she was coming. But they knew she was coming, but didn't treat her like she was coming. So she had something to say. So goes on to say we weren't greeted by the consulate and taken to the attorney general's office. We kind of had to make our way in order to get the information. We did not receive any assistance from the consulate, despite their knowledge of the protocols in Mexico that the attorney general will require the consulate to be involved because it is a crime involving a U.S. citizen. What that tells us is that even there is some issue over in Mexico of which how they have followed their own fucking procedures. And we know that they don't follow their procedures all the time, but as we're beginning to go down there and peel that onion back, so wait, I'm talking to them, but y'all are supposed to be the ones to handle this, so why aren't we talking to them? You mean to tell me y'all are handling it? It should be at a higher level up here, but it's down here? And that's what she felt. She walked in like, why doesn't this case have the prestige? Why are we sitting here with the little folks at the table? Why are we over here at the big folks? That's a good ass attorney who knows international law, who understands the policies. Like, we're not talking to the right person. Because you and I could have went down there and been talking to the fucking, the bottom of the totem pole person, the person who's way at the bottom, who we shouldn't talk, but we don't know. So that was the first thing. I said, yeah, I get. They probably don't want you to talk to the consulate because they know you're going to ask the questions that's going to fuck them up. So we land ourselves here. What we did learn is that it is a unique. First, Mexico has said that they completed their investigation. They're done. They've completed it. They've turned it over to the United States. They're waiting on the United States government, and that's it. So this attorney was asked by the reporter, why do you think it's taking so long? What is the biggest holdup? And here's what she had to say. She said it's a unique case in that this extradition process is requiring the United States to essentially turn over a United States citizen or citizens to the Mexican government in order to be brought to justice under their criminal justice system. But it's not something that's unprecedented or that lacks a protocol for it to be done. It just takes a high-level diplomatic intervention. Now, we got to unpack this statement. It's a lot to unpack here, okay? First thing I noticed in this comment is that it is a unique case that this extradition process is requiring the United States to essentially turn over a citizen or citizens to the Mexican government in order to be brought to justice. And you know why that's unique? Because typically what the United, it's not like, and what she went on to say, it's not unprecedented and it's not like we haven't done it before, but typically what happens is that Mexico has already sort of did their judicial process. This person has been convicted. They've already had their court. They've already did an indictment. Here, Dejanay Jackson hasn't been indicted. They haven't had a jury trial. They haven't done none of that. They want literally us to get Dejanay Jackson, bring her over here, so then you can then go to court for these charges, of which the United States is still don't understand the charges. So that's part of why she said it's unique, because you're asking us to bring someone to bring charges, but we're sort of like, we can do it. It is possible, but we want to know that when we do that, the charges are legit. And so that's part of the reason why they're taking so long. Something else she said was, but it's not something that's unprecedented or that lacks a protocol for it to be done. It just takes a high level diplomatic intervention. So every time we have these college shootings, these shootings across the nation, the oil rig, hurricanes, a school, a bombing, Ukraine, in order for us to make sure that that's of some recognition, you will always see somebody from the White House, or you will always see somebody that's a dignitary from the government come out and speak about it. Whether it's the governor, whether it's the president, vice president, whether it's someone in the office, someone always comes out to speak about it. What they're saying is no one has come out to say anything about it. No one has come out to say to Mexico, we need you all to do your due diligence. We need you all to do your job. We need you all to put pressure on them. And so they're calling for someone to come out and be sort of the face of this from the government standpoint. And I don't think that's going to fly. I don't think it's going to go. I don't. And what she means is someone has to come forward and say, you know what? I'll be the one that's responsible to talk to the Mexican government and make sure that extradition is happening, that the protocols and everything that's in place to effectuate something like this is happening in a timely manner. And based on what I've seen so far, and based on what the family is being advised, it's just not being done. It's just not being done. So the family is out here like, we gonna have to make some moves. So today, okay, Shanquella's family and Ben Crump and the NAACP and other activists are meeting in DC, and they plan to hold a press conference soon, sometime today. Hopefully I can get you those details as soon as it happens, but they plan to hold a press conference today, and they want to put some pressure on Biden. They want to put pressure on Biden. So Justice for Shanquella Robinson, Ben Crump steps in amid calls for diplomatic intervention. And Ben Crump goes on to say they're holding a press conference on Friday morning when they will demand President Joe Biden's administration and the State Department exercise diplomatic intervention, arrest and charge the person or persons responsible for the death of Robinson. The two attorneys are expected to be joined in the nation's capital by Robinson's family, activist Tamika Mallory, Akosua Ali, the president of the NAACP's DC branch. And so the family has also came out to make their plea too as well. So we're here. This is what I said. I said, first of all, how long have we been talking about a press conference? How long have I been saying to the crew that we need a press conference? And so finally we get this press conference. I'm hoping it's staged right, and I'm hoping that the backdrop of this is going to be something that's going to hit. Networks are going to pick this up, because I do feel like Biden should say something. I do feel like we're at a time, he said something about a lot of different things that I'm like, I don't care about that. I would love to hear what they have to say about this. Check out what the family had to say. Check out what Ben Crump had to say regarding Shanquella Robinson and the folks that are in DC as we speak. And please hit that like button too. I appreciate it. Eyes appreciate it.
Right now, folks gearing up as they get ready to head to our nation's capital in support for Shanquella Robinson. It comes more than 4 months since Robinson mysteriously died while vacationing with friends in Cabo. Now, friends and family calling for justice by heading to Washington to lobby lawmakers on her behalf. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us with more as he spoke with some people making that trip.
John Barnett is with the organization Thug, True Healing Under God. He says when he spoke to Shanquella's mother just the other day, she said she's tired of rallies. She wants justice, and that's what he intends to do.
Tomorrow at 10:30, we're going to be in Washington, D.C. staging this press conference is to send a message out, not only to, the United States, President Joe Biden, who I'm sure he got a lot of pink letters in his mailbox last week, but more importantly, Mexico, to put more pressure on Mexico.
That's why Barnett says it's so important that the name of Shanquella Robinson stays in the public's eye. Friday, a rally held to continue to shed a light on the Robinson case. Shanquella's mother and sister will attend, along with national civil rights activists like Benjamin Crump and Tamika Mallory, and Barnett, as well as Mario Black of the Million Youth March of Charlotte. It's been about 4 months since that fateful trip to Cabo, Mexico, that Robinson went on with 6 people she thought were her friends, only to wind up dead. Her death later ruled a femicide, and Mexican police issuing a warrant for one of the people in that group, but still have yet to make an arrest. People here in Charlotte and around the world, for that matter, want justice on her for Shanquella, something Barnett says is exactly why they're taking her case and cause to Washington.
That's the mecca of getting information out. You got the National Press Club and all that other stuff up there. So hopefully we can penetrate this case, that Mexico understand they're not letting up.
And Barnett says he will continue to press along with the other members of this group to get answers in this case. We're in Charlotte. Richard Devane for WC.
Yes, justice for Shanquella, justice for Shanquella, justice for Shanquella. I'm glad the focus of this is to put pressure not only on the government, Biden, his administration, but also Mexico, to make sure they get their shit together. Because clearly, as we can see from the context of that message, and also you can tell that Ben Crump and they know that Mexico is not really handling their internal policies the right way. There's no way the family lawyer came to Mexico, San Cabo, and you all were in disarray, not speaking to the right people. What? Ill prepared. It's not looking good. So we're gonna be here for the long haul. We not gonna give up. Justice for Shanquella. It's still a sad story. It's still definitely a sad story. And I will keep you all updated on what goes on here. Let's make sure we continue to say her name and keep her family and her friends, her real friends, the real friends. Because I showed y'all that clip of her as a young child and her friend talking about her. They're real friends in our hearts and our prayers. And shout out to y'all for being here for local news this morning. This may be a silly question. Have there been any updates on the culprits? Like, I haven't heard a thing about. Khalil is not on social media like that, and the other ones have scrubbed their social medias. It used to just be like Khalil. We would see him. We would see Winter. Winter is not posting. Dejanay, she's not on social. I was looking at Khalil's TikTok, and he hasn't posted nothing since December. So I don't know. I don't know if he got a gag order or something, but he's not saying nothing. All right, Ox City 805 Queen. Thank you. Come back and catch the replay. Not that name. Thug and then behind the church, it reminded me of True Hero Under God. All right, y'all, we about to get into hot topics now. So much to cover in hot topics. Please stay there, but make sure y'all, if anything, make sure y'all do this. All right, so before we get to that, I want to go into the question of the day. Let's do the question of the day. So I asked you all earlier, who do you trust the most? Your children, best friend, parents, or your significant other? And I wanted to know, out of everybody in in your life right now, who would you say is the person that you're the most trusting with your money, your secrets, or whatever? Who would that be? And hold your answer, because it might be too deep. Hold your answer, and I'm gonna explain to it. I'm gonna explain you what each one of these allegedly represents. If you trusting of your children out of everyone, there might be some detachment issues. Parents, best friend, significant other. There's no right answer at all. You said, sorry, y'all. Oh, thank you, Mitri. Thank you. Hey, Cheryl, good morning. Good morning. Me, myself, and I trust only myself. Look at y'all. Do they have any sightings of them? Except for the sighting of, who is it? Of Khalil's mother. Child, they've been chasing her ass down and chasing her ass down. They got a sighting. They have sightings of her. She can't go nowhere. She's stuck. She really stuck. All right. So let's just jump right into hot topics. I just looked at the clock. Let's jump right in. Oh yeah. All right. So Tim Norman. Tim Norman has been sentenced to life in prison. We were talking about him on Wednesday, possibility of 42 years. Well, the man has been sentenced to life for 2 life sentences plus 210 month sentence. Now this is all stemming from the orchestrated killing of Andre Montgomery. Oh, cheesy ass face. Norman was given 2 life sentences on Thursday, plus a 240-month sentence after being found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder for hire. Murder for hire resulting in death and mail fraud during his September 22nd, 2022 trial. The trial's jury reportedly spent 17 hours deliberating before they reached a final verdict. Now, this is all over and done. Man's going to jail. Happened in 2020, all over $450,000. They said Miss Robbie did not speak to Andre's family. We're going to watch the clip. But they said during this, right, Tim's attorneys had submitted several letters asking for leniency, right? And among those letters was a letter from Mrs. Robbie. And before we dive into this letter, everybody is like, I can't stand her for writing a letter on behalf of her son. Be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Of course she's going to write a letter for her son for leniency. Of course she is. She's not saying don't send him to jail. She ain't saying that, but she's asking for leniency. So when I first saw it, I said, I didn't feel one way or the other. I said, girl, he going to jail, but I get it. That's more for her conscience. Can you imagine she didn't take that opportunity to do that? How that would eat her alive as a mother? Sometimes she chose herself in that situation, and how she wanted to respond was to write a letter. Now, do I think it was the right thing to do? I don't know. I'm not a parent. I don't know. I honestly can't answer that question. But I do know she wrote one, and it didn't mean shit. It didn't mean shit. So let's get into this. So first paragraph. My name is Robbie Montgomery. I am the mother of James Timothy Norman, an inmate who is coming before you for sentencing in a few days. I am writing to ask you for mercy for my son. As a mother, I am devastated that my son has been accused and convicted of the crimes. But I am pleading to God through you for mercy. Tim is my only living son. I lost my other son to violence in the streets of Los Angeles when Tim was only 15 years old. I don't know whether Tim did what he was accused and convicted of. He is still the baby that I bore, and I love him as every mother involved loves their child. When your child is in trouble, that's when they need you. As a parent, I'm sure you know the feeling. The man that was presented to the jury and you at the trial is not the man I know. I do not make this statement blind to all the faults that we as humans have and that Tim has. But the long-term scheming and plotting that was outlined at trial is not the man I have known. My statement is not the unthoughtful plea of a mother in love with her son, which I do. Over the years, I have watched all the people that Tim has helped and encouraged me to help. I have watched him help ex-offenders, friends, and relatives, trying to give them a hand up and volunteering with numerous community groups, providing food and service when there has been a need. I do not have Solomon-like wisdom to answer the question that must be answered in sentencing. I do know how complex the burden of carrying grief, loss of losing a first son, a grandson, and on the verge of losing my last son. This is more than a mother should have to carry into the sunset of her life. I pray that you will find a way in performing your sentencing responsibility to allow a small light of hope to Tim and me in going through these remaining years to find hope for redemption. I love all my children and grandchildren equally and have suffered with them in facing all their obstacles. This has been the hardest. I know that the man portrayed to you is not the man inside him, I am praying that your decision will leave an opportunity for that light in him to shine through. Thank you for your consideration and understanding of mother and grandmother's love. And that's what she had to say. That's what she had to say. And again, I have not taken. I'm at the point. Of course, she's gonna say it. Of course, she's gonna say what she need to say to help her son out. Of course, she is not. But that's your grandson, Miss Robbie, and he took his life out of greed. That letter says everything. I feel bad for her. She lost her son. I trust myself and the Most High. And the Most High. What's interesting is that people are saying they're waiting for the Netflix film. I said I am too. I really want to see this put together as a body of work, exclusive interviews, all that good stuff. I truly am. Tim, we're here. We're here. I do feel bad for Miss Robbie. I think that's part of the reason why I do feel bad for Miss Robbie. She didn't make the decisions for her son. She just happened to be the breadwinner of the family who poured her popularity and her reign onto her children, and this is what she got out of it. Does it make her a bad person? No. Does her feelings for her son make her a bad person? No, I don't think so. I mean, she's gonna always have those feelings, whether we hate her or not. She's gonna still love her son. So, but it didn't work. Now, if it worked, we'd be having a different tune. We'd be like, and I can't believe, but it didn't work. So it is what it is. It was a cold and calculated murder of his nephew. He did not deserve leniency. It was cold and calculated. It was. It was. But I knew she was gonna write the letter, Risa. I knew she was gonna say something. We haven't heard from her as much. And had nerve enough not to even want to speak to the family. No, nothing. She didn't want to say, I'm sorry for what you're going through. None of that. Where is Oh, thank y'all for being here with me. I appreciate it. Look at all of this. All right, y'all check this out.
Star learned he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. A judge sentenced Tim Norman for being the mastermind of his nephew's death. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. Tim Norman was known for being on the show Welcome to Sweetie Pies. Today, families learned his fate at the federal courthouse in downtown St. Louis. That's where our Justina Cornell joins us live with reaction. Justina.
Yeah, and so there were two different reactions. For Norman's side of the family, they were somber and hugging it out after the sentencing. As for the victim's side of the family, they said this was everything they wanted to hear. Relatives rejoice over justice and celebrate a life sentence.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Victory. Victory. Finally, I can breathe. 7 years I've been holding my breath.
Andre Montgomery's mother and her side of the family are at ease, knowing 43-year-old Tim Norman will be locked up in federal prison.
If I got to do life, he's going to do life. And I want him to know that I know that he did.
Michelle Griggs lost her 21-year-old son, Andre Montgomery Jr., March of 2016. 6 years later, a jury found his uncle Tim Norman guilty of taking out a life insurance policy of $450,000 on his nephew's name and then having him killed.
He's not a statistic.
Norman and his family gained national attention after being on the show Welcome to Sweetie Pies, a St. Louis soul food chain owned by his mom, Robbie Montgomery. In the show, Norman's attorneys say he portrayed kind actions, and it's because Norman wanted to pay it forward.
He went to jail at a very young age, 17, and kind of grew up in a prison and kind of against all odds was able to make a success out of his life and really give back to the St. Louis community.
But Judge John Ross said Norman had an incredibly dark side. Assistant U.S. attorneys say his history and characteristics on camera don't measure up to what happened behind closed doors.
It was a series of events that made it absolutely clear what had happened and that Tim Norman was the architect of all of it.
For now, his attorneys will continue playing defense.
Tim was always just, after the verdict, focused on the appeal. So his efforts are
really centraled on that. And I think there's almost a sign of relief that he can get started on that process.
Montgomery's family says their fight is finally over.
I knew God was in control, and I knew that he was going to get what he's supposed to get, and he got exactly what he deserved.
And Norman didn't say much in court earlier today, but he was vocal last week on social media. He posted on Instagram claiming his innocence and wrote #innocent. Reporting live in downtown St. Louis, Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
He got what he got. Again, I don't feel bad for him. I'm glad that this has come to an end, though. I'm glad that this eventually has finally come to an end. Now, I'd be interested to see who Miss Robbie gives that first interview to. Who she gonna speak to first? I know she gonna speak. Somebody gonna cough up enough money for it. Money will make anybody talk. Trust me. And I know she got some bills. So, but I'm just interested. Who is it gonna go to? Girl, go sit down with Tamron Hall. Go sit somewhere comfortable. Don't go to a radio station. Don't go to Good Morning America. They're gonna dramatize it. Go somewhere where you can let your hair down and have an honest conversation. If you want to drop a tear or two, that's my recommendation. He said he should have got locked up for walking around with them childbearing hips. I understand the letter because she's about to lose another son, but I wouldn't be able to rock with him after killing my grandchild. The most he could get from me is a couple of dollars for ramen noodles. Okay, here you go. Take them quarters up there on top of the refrigerator. That's all I got for you. That's it. All right, so let's get into another story. Now, we talked about this also on Wednesday, and we got more stuff is coming out, y'all. Now, I have to put myself on the line because I said on Wednesday, I alluded to, and we're talking about Peter Thomas, that I alluded to Peter Thomas being, I don't know, baby. Now, hell yeah, I believe Peter Thomas did it, allegedly. Hell motherfucking yeah, I believe Peter Thomas was off that booger sugar, and he was in the club mad because this girl, Tammy Rivera's cousin, was talking shit about him after he blocked her, and he overheard it and walked up on her and started choking her. The girl, now that we get more details, the girl left out, ran out the club, called her cousin crying and shit. Now we finally know who the one who actually called and how all this shit went down and the reason why it went down like that. Shame on you, Peter. Who the fuck you think you are? You are a former castmate from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, nigga. And you weren't on a lot of seasons. Are you kidding me? I wish the fuck you would be choking some women up because they talking shit about you. Bruh. And I live here. Your bar is in Bar 1 in Baltimore, bro. Like, you in a whole different market. Folks around here is different. You are liable to get checked a little bit. Somebody will run up on you like, who the fuck you think you're? It's different. Baltimore don't give that. Some people they may be fans over. Peter, you're not one of them. Really, this one, I was very shocked at myself once I got more detail. I'm like, what? Peter, are you kidding me? So now here's the thing. Peter was, it was dismissed. The case was dismissed. It was dismissed because Peter had hired an attorney. She had an estate's attorney. And I guess through litigation, the judge was able to dismiss this case. And so he went on bragging about it. I say bragging, whatever. But he went on bragging about it. Check out what he had to say. And then we're going to get into Tammy Rivera.
There's all kind of articles coming out right now accusing me of all type of stuff. These people write so many different things. Now that I'm hearing that I'm paying for sex, that's crazy. I'm giving away money, that's crazy. I was found innocent, thank God. All 12 jurors came back with an innocent thing. And now I gotta move on.
Yeah, it's time for you to move on. So we got that. Well, baby, Tammy Rivera came out here and gave us all the tea. And who do I believe? We always got one side. We always have the truth. We got one side. We have, his side, her side. Then we always got the truth. And where I'm seeing the truth lie at, a little bit right here, Now get it to Tammy.
Asking me and DMing me about the situation with my niece. I haven't spoke about it or said anything because, out of privacy for her and her respect. But anybody who knows, they know I don't play when it comes to my family. Peter knows that as well. What the moral story is, my niece didn't want me to help her. She didn't want me involved. She wanted me to help her with the lawyer or the case, anything. What it boils down to is he had Warren Brown as a lawyer. My niece had a state's attorney. That's what happened. That's all it is. He put his hands on her. He choked her. She called me outside the restaurant crying hysterically. My niece is not loud. She's not ghetto. She does not be in no mess. That's not her world. For her to even call me like that and saying that someone and everybody who was in that club saw it. He called around that next morning multiple times trying to apologize and get in contact with her. Like, you did it. Apologize and move on. If it gets to a point where you can't control your liquor and you don't remember what happened and you have to call around and say, oh my God, I don't remember what happened last night. What did I do? I don't remember that happening, that you're that drunk that you can't remember. That's sad. Get some help. Thank God that you had a little money to get you a good lawyer to get you off. But next time, it might not go that way. It might go a whole nother way. This ain't, Miami. This ain't, Charlotte. You in Baltimore. Get some help.
And that's it. And that's it. Get some help. Get some help. What's wrong with you? That's how I felt too. Peter, what are you doing? I mean, we gotta take it however we want to take it. But I kind of felt what she was saying. She had too many other details of the story that just lined up too right for me. Peter, get the fuck out of here. Come on now. The third story be having the facts, don't it? The third story be having that other side of the facts. That man was willing to take out his whole family for greed. I'm confused. Why call Tammy directly after the incident to not let her pay for an attorney for her? Leverage your resources when you need to. What did she say at the beginning of the show, y'all? She said you cannot do this all alone. They just gave the Murdaugh family to life in prison. The judge said people in the family have been sentenced to death for less. What? Baby, I can't wait to go look at this now. Shout out to Bobby. Thank you for that breaking news. Tammy sounded so silly trying to defend her cousin Honor by telling everyone she isn't even the loud or ghetto type. So that would excuse a man put his hands on someone. Tammy, just stop. Stop. So let's get into Chris Rock. Yo, Chris Rock out here talking now. Chris Rock is out here talking. Now, what we're going to talk about in this, we're going to talk about universal karma. This whole story between Chris Rock and Will Smith is what you call karma. And I'm going to tell you why. So we have Chris Rock. He joked he watched the Emancipation. Now, he done had his show in New York. And this show is going to be live streamed on Netflix this Friday. And they're doing it right here from the Hippodrome Theater. So he's been here. He's all in town and all this good stuff. Well, a lot of the information from his what he said during that time has been leaking out. We've been finding out more and more information of what he's going to say. So the first thing is, did the slap hurt, Chris? Did it hurt? Well, he goes on to tell us. He got something for us. The thing people want to know, did it hurt? Hell yeah, it hurt. He played Muhammad Ali. I played Pookie. Even in animated movies, I'm a zebra. He's a fucking shark. I got hit so hard, I heard Summertime ringing in my ears. So we know that it hurt. I knew it hurt. It looked like it was some pain caused. He continued, Will Smith is a big dude. I am not. Will Smith is shirtless in his movies. If you see me in a movie getting open heart surgery, I'm going to have a sweater on. And so he goes on to talk about there's a lot to look forward to. Selective outrage, broadcast, Baltimore's Hippodrome Theater. Oh, on Saturday. Hell yeah, I'll be tuning in. Hell yeah. I'm here. I'm interested to know. I know he's going to be funny as hell. Now, here's the thing. You got Chris Rock joking on the pain of Will Smith and making a coin off of it, right? Meanwhile, you got Will Smith over here giving his first award speech since the 2022 Oscars. And so I said, look at the dynamic of this. You got at the Oscars where Will Smith won the award, right? You have him slap Chris Brown. Why do I keep calling this man Chris Brown? Chris Rock. Chris Rock is embarrassed and humiliated, but then Will Smith is the one who got the award. Now look at it. Chris Rock seems to be the one everyone is sort of, we got you, that was wrong. And Will Smith is sort of like wallowing in his own despair. And I said to myself, I said, well, that's karma. That's how karma works. You did something wrong nationally. It don't just go away because you're a nice person or no. Karma don't work like that. Karma don't care how good of a person. Karma is all based on actions. What you do and say. What you do. Even I don't even feel like karma is based on what you say unless it's an intent for an action. I slap you. All right, you better be careful saying you'll slap somebody because somebody else will slap you. I base it more on actions. What you do to others will come back to you. And so, in a funny way, I think about Chris Rock and him blasting him tomorrow as him slapping back. His slap back, sort of like, I'm going to get you back. And so, Will Smith gave a great speech, though. Now, in this speech, he talks about he had a scene in the movie Emancipation where the white actor that was supposed to be spitting on him, you wasn't supposed to be. So he ad-libbed and actually hawked some spit on Will Smith's chest. And Will Smith was saying how he did his line and then he ad-libbed and spit in the middle of my chest. If I had pearls on, I definitely would have clutched them. I wanted to say Antoine, but I stopped and I realized that Peter couldn't have called the director, meaning Peter, the role he was playing in Emancipation. And he says, we do take two. I do my line. He does his line and spits in the middle of my chest. Again, I just held in that moment. And there was a part, it makes me teary right now. There was a part of me that was grateful that I got to really understand. And then in the distance, I hear a voice and Antoine says, hey, let's do a take without the spit. And in that moment, I knew that God was real. And so I said, you got him over here talking about these transformational moments, these great things that's going on with him. And you got Chris Rock making fun of him. I said, look how this is playing on in the public eye. Look at how this is playing in the public eye. So shout out to both of them. Look, shout out to Chris Rock for turning his humiliation into a coin, a bag. And he gonna taunt Will Smith for this is the shit that happens. And Will Smith, I see you trying to rebound. Keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. And he missed out on going to the NAACP awards, but he did go to the African American Film Critics Association where he gave his speech. I said, that's him trying to lay low. He's not. I ain't going to be around all of y'all. He might still be trying to slap some people. I'm being low key. That slap might still be in him. So he still might need some time away from motherfuckers, especially some niggas. But I wanted to say this. Stupid mistakes is always right for karma. You got to be careful. Stupid ass mistakes, doing something stupid as slapping somebody on national TV when you're an acclaimed actor. Stupid. Stupid as hell. And my Whitney Houston voice, Peter, you better lay low. Okay. And Chris has said some vile shit about black women throughout the years. So for me, that was his karma. Okay, Risa. Okay. Ain't it fake though? No, he really did spit on him. He wasn't supposed to, though, in that scene. He was supposed to ad-lib, and they was going to digitally add it in. But he actually spit on him. And Will Smith said, oh, okay. I'm not mad he slapped Chris, but wish he did it behind the scenes. Caught him in the back or something. He said he is going to pay to see Will whipped in that upcoming Star movie. He's so shady. He's arrogant. That's why Cynthia kicked him to the curb. Will, not a little man. He's every bit of at least 6'2" and meant that shit. It was some force behind it. You know, I wouldn't mind a slap. Yeah, she should have called Big Deb, not Tammy. Big Deb would have called everybody in the whole town. Deb would have been, I don't even live up there, but we're going to have somebody on it. Chris Rock out of pocket paying to see Will Smith on screen. That's why these movies need to end now. We get it. What other new information is being revealed with this movie? Trauma. Tired of watching it. That's true. Some of them should go straight to streaming because it is trauma. But I get why it was released and filmed. Because, see, this stuff was filmed years ago, but they wouldn't have expected we'd be here. Nobody expected Will Smith to have slapped him, you know? But I do agree that I'm tired of the whole walk down memory lane of how we used to struggle so much. You know, I get we struggle, but I mean, I'm sick of the trauma porn. Can we have some rom coms? Can we have more action movies? Can we get a Black Charm? Can we have some other? Can we bring back the whole Coco days and the Puffs? Now Deb is a trump card. No pun. You got to play that card wisely. I damn sure would have pulled Deb out. All right, so let's get into our next story. Let me do this real quick. Y'all wouldn't believe how much stuff I'll be doing. Sending emails. All right, so let's get into this next story. So Travis Scott. Travis Scott? So Travis Scott done hauled off and slapped the DJ. Travis Scott, suspect in assault investigation, allegedly punched man in face over damage sequence. So let's talk about Travis Scott. So Travis done slapped this man, Mark, 52, at a New York City club Nebula this past Wednesday. Now here's the thing. Travis Scott is set to headline Rolling Loud in LA this Saturday coming up. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, why are you doing dumb shit like this? So he shows up unexpected and decides to take over the DJ booth. He's gonna play a couple songs. Well, the DJ who was there with one of the engineers was like, yo, you need to cut it down so it'll play well. Because sometimes if you play it too loud and the system can't handle that volume, it's gonna be muffled. Anybody knows that. You know how you turn your radio down? Oh, all right. That's what he was saying. And you could tell Travis was irritated, like, bruh, I know what I'm doing. Don't say shit to me. And so I instantly saw that and said, Travis, you are showing your insecurities. You're showing your insecurities. You are very insecure. You can't even let this man give you simple instruction. You're too much feeling yourself. Very insecure. So he didn't think nobody was filming his ass. So originally, Travis Scott, lawyer, came out here and said, this is clearly a misunderstanding being blown out of proportion by clickbait and misinformation. We are actively working with the venue and law enforcement to resolve and set the record straight. We are confident our client will be cleared of wrongdoing. Said, okay, cool. Well, one of the club owners came out and said something too. The club owner, Richie Romero, says this is blown completely out of proportion. It was a great night. Sounds like you try to save your business. Well, footage got out of actually what happened. And yeah, you were out of line, Travis. Originally, you're going to see Travis in his face like this, and then you're going to see him walk off and something happens. Now, if y'all are calling this little situation, if you're calling this little situation blown out of proportion, anytime you put your hands on someone, it's no longer blown out of proportion. That's you ready to fight. If I slap somebody and then I go back to doing what I'm doing, and they say why that, and they don't slap you back, it's blown out of proportion. It's no longer a fight. What do you mean it's blown out of proportion? That's not, no, you hit me. You hit me. And white man, he's scared, probably around, don't know what's going on. So y'all check out what he did. Crazy self. I'm just trying to think. I'm just sitting thinking like you literally are associated with violence and you're here. What is going on? So we're here. We ended up, he caused $12,000 worth of damages. They say he put his middle finger up and he attacked. And so now we woke up to news today that Travis Scott is in fact going to surrender. I said, I bet you are. Travis Scott to surrender to New York Police Department following alleged club assault. The club manager and a Scott's lawyer maintained the alleged incident was blown out of proportion. Listen, stop getting yourself caught up in this little shit. Keep you too much money. Don't make sense. You already got too much stuff going on with yourself already. We shouldn't even be talking about stuff like this. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. What we should talk about is Jussie the fuck Smollett. So baby, Jussie Smollett is out. He done came out here and said that filed a conviction. Okay, on top of Fox is about to gear up to present their 5-part documentary, Anatomy of a Hoax, based on Jussie Smollett. So let's get into this. So Jussie Smollett filed his formal appeal, basically for falsely reporting a 2021 hate crime. You know, he was indicted. He got probation, 2 years probation, with 150 days in jail. He also forego his bail bond, the $10,000, basically paying a fine, and he did community service. Well, he filed an appeal. He said there were so many trial court violations. And so it's funny to me, the violations that he put in his lawsuit. So I pulled out just the ones I thought to be interesting. Let me see. So he filed it, y'all. He did. Yeah, he did. Now, the first one, he says that, you know, they violated his due process rights because Mr. Smollett fully performed his part of a non-prosecution agreement with the state by performing community service and forfeiting his $10,000 bail bond. The state benefited from taking and keeping his bail bond without performing its end of the bargain. Thus, the violation of due process was prejudicial and requires reversal of Mr. Smollett's convictions and a dismissal of the charges against him. They're saying we had a pretrial agreement, right? And during that pretrial agreement, I agreed to the community service and the $10,000, you know, I forfeited. How are you all going to then come back? Okay, convict me. Not only convict me, but then give me 2 years of probation and 150 days in jail. And so he's saying that, you know, you're violating his terms of his pretrial agreement, which was these things that I'm doing here should cover everything. No, sir. The fuck you thought. Two different sets of things going on here, sir. You had 2 of those things were covered under a plea agreement. Not falsely reporting a crime, a hate crime, because that's something they would have had to prove. You didn't go to court for that. You went straight to a pretrial agreement, which we didn't even see, and was like, what? Well, how you get that? Thank God they came out here with because then we got more details of the case. And so also goes on to say, where's the other one? The second indictment and additional punishment of Mr. Smollett violated his double jeopardy protection against multiple punishments because Mr. Smollett was already punished for the same offenses by his performance of community service and forfeiture of his bail bond to the city of Chicago as part of a pretrial agreement. No, nigga. No, not at all. Did y'all hear that? Okay. Not at all. And further, he ain't done there. This is what got me the most, y'all, out of everything. The trial court violated Mr. Smollett's due process right when it allowed the entirety of Mr. Smollett's Good Morning America video interview into jury deliberations as a prosecution exhibit, even though only a small portion had been played for impeachment during trial. So he mad that they played his Good Morning America interview and presented it to the jury trial during their deliberations. Well, here's my thing with that. If it was also presented during the actual trial, what's wrong with them getting to see it again during the jury deliberations? But he doesn't stop there. He also goes on to say that they violated his 6th Amendment right because they failed to utilize overflow rooms with live feeds and instead removed all members of the public from the courtroom. And they forgot to, he's saying they arbitrarily enforced COVID-19 head count protocol during the trial and ejected a member of the public from the trial after that individual made out-of-court comments critical of Chicago police to the media during an interview. Jussie, you were just picking shit now. So he's saying basically the trial violated by allowing homophobia to be inserted. They falsely removed certain certain folks who were saying certain things in the courtroom. They failed to provide jury instructions. They allowed his GMA interview to be seen. I said no, I ain't going. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So we'll see. We're gonna be here. I guess apparently we're gonna be here, and we're supposed to be just waiting to wave out. But he filed his appeal, y'all. He filed his appeal, and it seems to be that he's mostly mad that he's convicted as a felon. He's got a conviction on his record. And basically this is brought about because he wants the conviction reversed, and he wants the charges that were brought against him to be removed because he's saying his pretrial agreement covered it. Bro, it's not looking too good at all. It's not looking too good on it for a number of reasons. Honestly, after Astro World, he should be frightened to have his name in headlines that don't serve him. Y'all have the money and resources to move smarter, and yet here you are again. So when did he hit him? Did you see it? It got off camera. He ran to the side. Television tell a lie to your vision. That was a mess. I wonder what the conversation was when him and Frank Gatson came up with the idea. What you talking about? Oh, there's no, wait. They're saying Chicago legal system didn't hold up their end of the agreement. You heard it. This whole case was a gut punch to both the Black and LGBTQ communities. His crime didn't fit his time, and it's so weird because I don't even be throwing him in any community. I don't, but I forgot he's a part of both of those too. He poking a sleeping bear. He get a tap on the wrist for his fuck shit. Now he wants to appeal. The book they gonna throw at his ass finna be massive. I don't understand why he won't just leave all as well alone. Just leave it alone, Jussie. Leave it alone, Jussie. Jussie won't leave it alone. All right, crew. All right. Can we get into? We gotta move it right along so I can start this day. But can we get into Chaka Khan? Have y'all heard Chaka Khan? Have y'all heard Chaka Khan go the fuck off about this Billboard 200 list? Baby, Chaka Khan went the fuck in. I was like, what? I didn't even know Chaka Khan talked like this, but she went in, baby. She was not here for Mariah. She's not here for Ariana Grande. She's not here for Adele. She isn't here for Beyonce. She let the girls know, bitch, I'm not here for none of you hoes. And she definitely ain't here for Mary J. Blige. So Chaka Khan drags Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, and Adele through the fire with her hot takes. So basically, you know, the Billboard 200 list, it came out, and it basically has the countdown of who they dubbed to be the top 200 list singers. And so here was their top 10 list, right? So Aretha, Whitney, Sam Cooke, Billy, Mariah, Ray, Stevie, Beyonce, Otis, Al. I ain't got no problem with none of that. They all black to me. Nothing wrong with that. But Chaka had a problem. So Chaka was sitting down on a podcast and she was having a conversation. And the guy didn't know whether she heard it or not. So he was like, I want to talk. He was easing into it. Like, I want to ask you something, but, you know, I don't know. She's like, no, just ask me. Just ask me. Chaka said, just ask me. And so he did just that. Now, if you didn't hear it, good. Because I got it right here for you. Baby, let's gag together. Get into what Chaka Khan had to motherfucking say. And hit that like button, too. She went off, baby. Yes, she did, Reese.
Go ahead.
You don't want...
Tell me
you
something.
Don't want to hear...
Just give me a
you
few.
don't want to hear...
Give me something that pissed you off.
Well, no, I wanted to... You don't want to hear who is above you on the list,
Yeah, I
do you?
do. Go ahead.
All right.
I can take it.
Or Aretha was number one.
She should be, as she fucking should be. Thank you. There's justice somewhere.
Whitney Houston 2. Houston 2.
Great.
Sam Cooke 3.
I mean, Whitney Houston would be, if she would have got there later. I'm the one that introduced her to Clive, introduced her to the business. I made her mother bring her down to the studio and sing background with me. Her and Luther Vandross.
I think I had heard that. You
were
they
both sang background with me on
instrumental
my
in her
albums.
beginning.
Yes, they did. Roll Me Through the Rushes, all that shit.
Billie Holiday number 4. This one I believe is going to be controversial with you. I can predict this. Mariah Carey number 5.
Fuck yeah.
All right, good.
That must be payola or some shit like that.
Wait, okay, so you're good with Mariah Carey?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not? Why?
No.
Payola. Okay, so
Payola.
the fix is still in getting Mariah Carey that high?
Man.
Okay, Ray Charles 6. Can we agree Ray Charles 6?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, Beyonce 8.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
What? No comment?
I don't have anything to say about Beyonce. She's a great singer. Okay? She really has opportunity to be a great singer. She has what it takes. She got the chops.
Opportunity.
Okay?
I'm not going to go through everybody. Another one.
Go ahead.
Just ahead of you.
Who?
Adele at 22.
Okay. I quit. You've really told me.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's too much? Shit. Did I bring it down? Did I bring this shit down? Like we were like a house on fucking.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry.
Do it.
What? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to tell you more?
Tell me something else. Give me somebody else.
Mary J. Blige, number 25.
What? Wait. I'm 22 and she's 25?
No, you're 29 and she's 25.
Oh, you know what? Now that's why I feel the way I do.
I shouldn't have done that.
These are some blind bat bitches. These bitches are blind as a motherfucking bat. But no, they need hearing aids. They don't have hearing aids.
You know what? I
Baby, she wasn't here for it at all. And that wasn't just it. So it continued, and the placement. 22 Adele, 25 Mary, 29 Chaka Khan. She was not here for this at all. Now, y'all thought that was something. Listen to what she said about Ariana Grande.
3 years ago, there's a new Charlie's Angels movie. You did a song called Nobody with Ariana Grande. How was she as a singing companion, as a partner?
I never met her.
Wait, but you sang a song with her.
Between you and I, listen to me. I would have loved to have gotten to know Ariana Grande as a woman to woman, but that wasn't meant to be. So
I don't understand. If you're Ariana Grande and Chaka Khan has agreed to do a single with you, don't you want to be in the same room with her?
There's nothing unordinary about that, okay? In this business, which is another big fucking I hate it. That she felt that this is okay for her to do this too. And that's because of the label, the way she came up in this industry.
It just seems like you have to pay tribute to the people who came before you, right? It's a polite thing. Show up at the studio.
You know what?
Say
fuck if
hello.
you came before or after. Thing is, it's a polite thing to do. I would have never asked anybody to come sing on my motherfucking project without me knowing.
She's mad. She's mad. She's mad at Ariana Grande. Rightfully so. I have to say, rightfully so. Do I think that the criticism towards Mary J. Blige was warranted? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I like me some Mary J. Blige. I don't know about anybody else, but I like me some Mary J. Blige. And I think everybody, has their own vocal ability, but these people on this list are some fucking heavy hitters. Now, the other one I will question is Adele. Who else did I question? I questioned Adele, Ariana, because most of their catalogs have started like in the 2010s. I don't question Beyonce, Mariah, or MJB because they started their catalogs in the 90s, some of them late 80s. So I don't really question them. I think, they've been around for a while. But I do question these girls on the top 10 of the list, and they've been around for about 10 years or so. I'm talking about, when you say greatest singer, I'm thinking you're talking about someone who stood the time of other talents and still has risen as a force to be reckoned with. We can't even say that about Adele or Ariana because they haven't been around long enough for us to say, years from now, oh, Adele, she's still rocking. We still are in it. So for me, I'm just like, okay, it is what it is, I guess, but I have my own little way to think about it. What y'all think? I mean, I could be wrong. Like what she thought. Now, Mary need to be lower. Let's be honest. See, there we go. Mary need to be lower. Ariana shouldn't even be on it. Sorry, not sorry. I'm with you. Ariana's like 12. If we're talking vocalist, how the fuck is Mary over Chaka? Who else they had Mary ahead? That is the one right there because Mary ain't a vocalist. Ariana should have been in that studio with Chaka. She should have been in the studio with Chaka. She should have been. There was no reason why she wasn't. I love Chaka. Chaka laid it out. Ooh. Now, Ariana, you messed up not sitting in the room with Chaka. That's years of experience. Chaka be high out of her. That's what I thought too. I don't take anything. I thought she was good high. She should be above Adele now, in my honest opinion. I do agree she should be above Adele. That which means Adele should be lower because there's a lot of people that should be above Adele. Who Mary beat on the low vocal list? Let me pull up the rest of the list. Rolling Stone said, y'all ain't finna do this to me. Y'all not finna do this to us. So after she's like 22. Marvin Gaye is 20. Aaliyah is 40. Aaliyah is 40. Wow. Okay. David Bowie's 32. Luther Vandross is 31. Okay. Chaka Khan is 29. Mahalia Jackson is 28. Dolly Parton is 27. Paul McCartney is 26. Baby, I thought that said Rihanna. Mary J. Blige is 25. George Jones is 24. Smokey Robinson is 23. Adele is 22. Nina Simone is 21. Adele and Nina are near each other. Girl. And then Marvin Gaye is 20. So you mean to tell me Marvin Gaye, Nina Simone, and Adele, and Smokey Robinson? Yeah, this was rigged. That was rigged. Yo, you can't tell me nothing else. That was definitely rigged. Adele around all them great ones. 31. 31. Mary beat Luther. Mary beat Mahalia Jackson. Let me see how Ms. Khan was able to cultivate longevity. If Beyonce wanted to do a song, no way she ain't in the studio with B. Stop. Period. That's so true. That's true. That is true. So we had Chaka Khan going in and going off, y'all. That is all of the hot topics I have for y'all today. Oh my God. 2 hours, 27 minutes. Y'all, before we get out of here, I want to do this. Y'all check this out, please. And make sure y'all hit that like button too.
I'm going to try to tell the shortest version of this story possible. Years ago, there was a famous mathematician. His name was Yuri Treisman, taught at UC Berkeley. And in his class, his Asian students were doing amazing and his black students were flaming out of that class. And so this bothered him. He asked his colleagues, why are they flaming out? And his colleagues gave him a bunch of answers like, well, maybe they came from unprepared schools and, maybe they just don't understand the rigor. And he was like, nah, you can't get into this school without having like the academic chops, like something is up. So he asked his black students, he said, can I observe you for the next couple of weeks and just see how you're engaging with this material? And what did he find? He found that the black students were actually studying more than the Asian students. But the key was they were studying alone. And the Asian students were studying in community. Fast forward, he made it mandatory that everybody would learn in groups and have learning communities. And within a couple of semesters, the black students were doing equally as well as the Asian students. What's my point? Stop trying to do everything by yourself. Stop struggling in isolation. Stop pushing help away. Stop feeling like I don't need anybody. Like, no, okay? Life is hard. And you can only take yourself so far. Self-made is never entirely self-made. Somebody had somebody somewhere give them a hand, an aid, a chance, something. So stop trying to do everything yourself and see how far you get this year.
And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's a good ass message. That is a great message to kick this weekend off with you all. Great show. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all who stayed throughout it. I know it'd be long, but we be getting through some good stuff, and we be having some stories today. I limited both segments to 6 stories only. I know I'll be having a lot of stories, so I did local news 6 stories, hot topics 6 stories, and I took out quickies and rumors just for today's show. I wanted to slow myself down. I be rushing and rushing. I don't get to fully enjoy my commentary. So I hope you enjoyed it today. I enjoyed it. We will be doing Wake and Brief, but I want to ask you all, crew, right now. This is a question for you all. If I was to come live like tonight or tomorrow morning, what do you want to do? Do you want to have a party? Do you want to have a discussion? Or do you want to have a panel debate? In the chat, can you just drop down, even if it's only 2 or 3 of y'all? Just let me know what y'all would like to do. Do y'all want a party? Do y'all want to have a discussion? Or do y'all want to have a panel debate where drop the link and we have a topic? We just talking about it. But let me know. Party, also music and all that good stuff. But let me know. I'm interested to see what you all would like to do. And I'll also drop this as a poll in the members only after this live, so you all can let me know what it is you all want to do, because I want to do a pop-up live, but I want to definitely do it along the lines of what you all want to do too. Thank y'all for being here. Gerald was one of my first questions growing up. Gerald Levert, I can see that. Listen when I didn't hear Anita Baker, that listen was a rap for me. Really? I don't consider Diana a vocalist at all. Really? Wait a minute. Gerald Levert, Jill Scott, Mahalia Jackson, Lettucey should be in top 20. Definitely Lettucey. I love her energy. A whole word, right? What about Diana Ross? Where was Diana Ross on the list? Diana Ross. Diana Ross came in at 87. Wow. 87, baby. Through the fight, we are living through it all. But it's hard to admit it. I'd rather do it all. Well, I want to hear that next. Discussion, debate with an after party. Okay, just throw it all in there. Okay, Fantasia has one of the best shows I've seen live. Yes, you do get hype. All 3 of those ladies should have been on there. I love me some Jilly. Okay, Jilly from Philly. They really had Mary J ahead of Luther and Mahalia Jackson. Them folks not credible. All right, crew. So I only saw Shantae drop something. All right. So I guess I'll just figure it out. I'll put the poll on the community wall. All right, crew. Thank you so much. We had a lot to cover. We got through it. I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Thank you. Recap. And no real recaps. All of our local news stories were definitely one for the books. The Tennessee lynching and the main story, clearly not something that's going to happen. We found out that the sex scandal, she's now saying that she was being groomed. Alex Murdaugh sentenced to life. Just found that out in the chat. And we got some updates on Shanquella. Thank y'all for being here, chat. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, I'm going to pop up. That's all I'm going to say is I'm going to pop up. I'm not scheduling no live. I'm just going to pop up on y'all. And I hope y'all be here for me. Until next time, I'm hugging you, so hug yourself. Until next time, deuces, crew. Deuces.
Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning.
let's go, let's go. Oh, let's start this show. King Roman news gonna come right through. Gonna give you that news just like you know he can do. Hot topics in your face, baby. King Roman knows his place, baby. King Roman news.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning.
6:30 a.m. Eastern time, baby. He's gonna come right on time with the news just for you. Celebrity news, politics, and local news just for you. King Roman news. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go, let's go. Hey, let's start this show. King Roman news, coming just for you. King Roman news, coming just for you. 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. King Roman news, King Roman news. Let's go, let's go.